Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the opening part to a new What If Goku had negative ki. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video. In this world, there will be an alteration to normal ki. Inspired from the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, negative ki will function similarly to the cursed energy that we see in that world. The power derives from intense negative emotion like grief, pain or rage. It can also derive from a sense of need for power. This power is going to be unique to Goku in the whole universe. The series starts off in the scene with Krillin being defeated by Tambourine. Goku rushes in to see his closest friend dead on the floor in this tournament room. He feels crushed. Totally, entirely crushed. Crying over his friend's dead body, he feels overcome with this grief and loss. It almost becomes too much for him to deal with. Suddenly, he feels his body rush with this immense strength. A dark blue-black aura of energy surrounds him, flowing off him like a slow, cold flame. Negative ki. Revealed to the world for the first time, he tightens his fist with this new strength. With this new strength comes even greater resolve. He's going to get the person that killed his friend. Lifting, he chases after Tambourine on the flying Nimbus after he defeated Krillin. It's hard for him to keep up, but he just leaps right off it and dives toward Tambourine. With this new negative ki, he's grown stronger. He shoots off the golden cloud like an arrow and strikes Tambourine in his wing. Injuring it greatly, it sends both warriors falling to the ground. They arrive in a forest and Tambourine looks annoyed that his wing was hurt like that. However, not only that, but his left arm feels so hurt by that strike. He doesn't really know how else to use it. To Goku, this energy form feels like ordinary ki in a sense, but it just has this evil, intoxicating feel to it too. Maybe if he just uses it as normal ki and tries to keep his mind sane, it should work. Goku acts on this and searches deep. He thinks about the death of his best friend and all the emotions rushing straight back to him. His eyes shoot open now a sinister black colour. This cold aura of energy appears once again. Negative ki. He speeds toward Tambourine and speed blitzes with his aura alone. Grabbing Tambourine, he slams him into a tree. Next, he pulls him back and slams him down again. With Tambourine, Goku unleashes his inner anger and rage into his assault. This works as a twisted positive feedback loop of sorts. His anger fuels his assault, while the assault makes him even angrier and adds to his strength. Tambourine dies shortly after and Goku leaves him there. However, in that darkness is a massive volume of negative ki. When negative ki leaks from the body, it can become condensed and fermented in a certain area. In this dark forest, the negative emotions from Goku fester and form a massive beast, the very first cursed spirit born from the lurking negative ki in the air. It's a grotesque creature, but with a surprisingly strong power level. It's born from Goku's grief at the loss of one of the closest people to him. An extremely strong emotion that feeds into this cursed spirit's power. Goku meets Yajirobe and they work to take down Symbol, another child of King Piccolo. Roasting him and eating him, Goku is back up to full strength. Symbol reveals to them that he is the son of King Piccolo, who is working to acquire the Dragon Balls to take over the world. Master Roshi, with the aid of Tien and Chaozu, has already located King Piccolo, an old enemy. The people here won't have the power to take him out. Master Roshi knows this and resorts to the evil containment wave. He knows it will kill him, but it's something that he must do. Before Master Roshi does it though, Goku comes to the rescue. Arriving at the scene, he feeds on the hatred and anger from within, empowering himself. This negative ki fuels his body and makes him significantly stronger. Instead of Roshi having to perform his evil containment wave, Goku steps in. He lands a heavy punch that lands with a good thud. It folds King Piccolo while making his eyes wide. It's like they'll pop out their sockets. He stumbles back, overcome with this agony through his body. Goku then swings up an uppercut, launching the large Namekian off his feet. He slams flat onto his back, overcome with the pain from those two power punches. Those in the back are shocked. What has overcome Goku? Tien couldn't hit and fold King Piccolo like that and he just beat him in the tournament. What is this energy cloaking him? It looks totally different. He's way faster, way stronger, and his whole demeanor has changed. King Piccolo, slowly rising, nearly stumbles down again. He hasn't entered his youthful state yet and his old body can't take those hits well. They visibly affected him. Goku, just overcome with anger, sprints forward and hits King Piccolo in his chest with a shove. However, as he shoves him, he releases this negative ki outward. Instead of a simple ki blast, what he expects, he creates this massive blast of negative ki. It condenses and nearly splits King Piccolo open. It creates an explosion and throws him off his feet. That's enough power to nearly end his life right there and then. King Piccolo coughs out blood, then turns onto his side. He tries to crawl away, barely able to do so. Master Roshi was intending on sealing King Piccolo away, but it looks like that won't be necessary. Thanks to Goku, he gets to live another day. King Piccolo, as his last dying act, shoots out an egg into the distance. Seconds later, he succumbs to his injuries and passes away. The job is done. King Piccolo is dead. His attempt to take over the world is brought to an early stop, and these fighters can rejoice knowing that peace is here. So with King Piccolo gone, they can use the Dragon Balls to wish for everyone killed by King Piccolo and his offspring to return to life. Peach returns and Goku's closest friend is alive again. Goku spends the following time figuring out what this power is, this negative ki. He just watches the ki flow over his hands. He can use it on parts of his body and has to flow it through that area to enhance it. Not only that, but he can transfer the ki into objects, making them more durable and devastating. His skin becomes hard to cut when he uses negative ki, due to it greatly enhancing his durability. Goku starts using his own battle IQ and innovation here. He can use this ki to make his very own techniques unique to himself. It's like a whole new door is opened for him. It gives him a new reason to love his training and he puts a lot more time into it. After training for so long, he finds basic features of this negative ki. First off, he can compress it a great amount and amplify his attacks. Whenever he packs his fist with negative ki, it can just make the strike much more powerful and have explosive impacts. This is basically the foundation power he has with negative ki. However, after training some more, he develops his very first technique with this new energy form. It's odd, it feels like an innate trait to him, but it works. This form, Ape Instinct, is a form derived from his Saiyan instincts and negative ki. It creates a direct correlation between primality and power. The angrier he makes himself, the more hateful, vengeful, the more power he receives. It's almost an extremely exaggerated form of what negative ki already does. He receives power from that bottomless well inside him, but it comes with a primal ape-like nature. If done uncontrollably, he can become a maniac and a threat to everyone, including those close to him. The more power he uses, he develops more features pertaining to the Great Ape Uzaru form. Maybe a longer snout, red eyes, denser musculature, etc. Goku finds himself in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai and meets Piccolo Jr. in the final. He readies himself for the fight and so does his adversary. Goku immediately begins using his negative ki, flowing it through his body, it invigorates him and brings his power level up significantly. He enters a powerful sprint across the battlefield, releasing a strong gust of wind as he does so. He wallops Piccolo as his opening attack and nearly knocks him out with that attack alone. The Namekian is sent rolling to the ring's edge and looks quite hurt. He struggles to get up, still bothered by the pain and injury from that strike. Goku then collects his negative ki into his fist, making it vibrate. Swinging it again, that's all he needs. Piccolo Jr. is knocked out cold and left on the ring's edge. A few seconds pass and Goku is crowned the winner of this Tenkaichi Budokai. However, Piccolo Jr. isn't going to just follow the rules and walk away. He came here to defeat Goku. The tournament's over now, he's going to do this his own way. He leaps toward Goku and attempts to kick him. Goku does block the attack, but since he's no longer using his negative ki, the attack hurts a good amount. He's sent sliding away from Piccolo Jr., who then rushes at him. As Piccolo Jr. advances, Goku draws upon his negative ki and waits. Any attack that comes his way, he uses skill and speed to evade or parry. Nothing comes close to landing properly. Piccolo Jr. throws a right hand, but Goku parries it and acrobatically flips over him in the same motion. Once he lands, he springs off his feet after collecting negative ki into his feet. It stings his soles a little bit, but it's nothing he can't handle. Being propelled at great speeds toward Piccolo Jr., he double drop kicks him and launches him into the now emptying stands. Actually, he goes right through it and through an adjacent building as well. Goku leaps onto the top of the stand directly facing Piccolo, then waits. Piccolo comes rushing out the rubble across the street, visibly injured. His gait has been affected by that crushing back kick and he looks slower. Jumping at Goku, he just grabs him by the neck then jumps back. Flipping, he slams Piccolo Jr. into the arena and shuts his lights with that attack. Goku doesn't want to kill him. He's learned to hone anger and negativity for his negative ki, so it no longer affects him as much. He uses it in a focused manner as an energy source and nothing more. Getting up, he grabs Piccolo then jumps away. He just leaves him in a forest away from the scene, unwilling to kill him. Next, he leaps away and hopes that he can leave what's happened behind him. In a large city, Goku's cursed spirit starts wreaking havoc. Innocent humans are dying. The city is being turned to chaos. Goku, while just meditating a few months after his fight, can feel this loss of ki. He must investigate and see what's happening. Arriving on a building, he looks out and eventually sees this grotesque being. Appearing before it, he makes his stance. What are you? The cursed spirit stays silent for a second or two before just smiling at Goku. He asks again and gets no response. Assuming he can't talk, Goku begins the fight. He imbues himself with negative ki and feels the immediate power boost he needs. Charging forward, he grabs this cursed spirit and strikes it. He grabs it by the neck and just throws repeated right hands. He then shoves it away and kicks it to the ground. Even with this punishing assault, it gets back up and charges right at Goku. However, as it begins attacking, Goku notices that it's very unintelligent. The way it moves, the way it attacks, it's so primitive. He can easily intercept everything and fight calculatedly to counter it. The cursed spirit almost jumps at Goku, leaving it a sitting duck while in the air. It tries to grab him and slam him, but he steps to arrive by its side. Grabbing one of its arms, he uses its impetus and spins. Spinning it around while lifting it into the air, he pulls down as hard as he can and slams it into the asphalt street. As he does, the cursed spirit squeals, then turns into nothing but a dark cloud. It's gone. What a creature, Goku wonders. After so many years on Earth, he's never seen anything like it, this humanoid beast made just to attack and slaughter. After so many years on Earth, he's never seen anything like it. This humanoid beast, made solely for attacking and slaughtering. It couldn't even speak to him. The way it looked as well, it was almost alien. There's one thing for him to note though. The sensation he feels from his own negative ki, he got something very similar from this cursed spirit. He crouches down and tries to get closer to where it was just killed. Yeah, that's definitely it. That's negative ki. He hasn't been able to sense it from others, but it gives him the same feeling negative ki does. He doesn't know for sure, but he gets the feeling that this might be a bad idea. Following this is the 5-year time skip between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Goku doesn't spend much time physically training, but he works on his negative ki out of curiosity. It's something only he has, and he must find the answers himself. He refines his ape technique state and attempts to create some new techniques with negative ki. It's hard though, trying to do so feels so different to ordinary ki, and he isn't one to just create techniques, he mostly learns off others and does well at that. Raditz arrives on planet Earth and finds himself facing Goku at the Kame house. He attempts to grab Gohan and use him as a bargaining chip, but Goku steps in before he can do so. He grabs his brother's arm with his hand cloaked in negative ki. Raditz looks down at the energy and sees something quite interesting in his scouter. It attempts to read Goku's power level but comes to an error. Raditz clicks at it, trying to make it try again, but it comes to the exact same error. This is surprising. Goku pushes him back with enough force to send him into the waters behind him. Goku's base power level is at 416, not too shabby. However, his negative ki means he can grow much beyond that level. Raditz gets back on the island and speeds at his brother. He comes in with a crushing impact and knee to his arm. Goku hasn't released his negative ki yet, and this attack hurts a lot more than he expected. He's thrown through Kame House and into the water. Raditz leaps off the partially broken roof, then fires a one-hand energy wave down at Goku. Goku, currently in the water, sees this massive energy wave flying toward him. He funnels negative ki into his arms, making them much more durable. Catching the blast, it explodes in his hand. Since he's in the water, it doesn't hurt him as much, but his hands still do burn. Swimming up to land, he just about misses a kick. Performing a quick back roll, he gets back up onto his feet and enters his ape instinct state. Drawing upon the anger, the thought of seeing his son dead at the hands of this man, being forced to kill innocent lives, it all fuels him and gives him exactly what he needs: power. Fur coats his arms and his muscles grow larger. Not only that, but he adds a good few inches to his height. His hair grows messier and sideburns grow down his cheeks. He doesn't go too far, and so he maintains a good appearance. His eyes look as usual, but he has a new menacing appearance. Raditz assumes he's changing into his Suzaru form, but he stops short. He kinda just stays in this intermediary state and leaves Raditz very confused. With Goku using weaker forms of ape instinct means that he can use negative ki along with it. It's not like he can use precise control though, so he cloaks in his usual aura. Goku stands in this intimidating way, with both arms extended and his legs wide. Raditz watches this shocked. He blasts off, landing a jab followed by a swinging left kick. This kick launches Raditz onto his hands and knees, then Goku swings down an elbow to almost fully drop him. Raditz screams out in pain, unable to escape from under his brother. "Alright, you win. I'm sorry, Kakarot," Raditz shouts out, desperate. Goku, with the knee still on his back, eases off a little. He backs away. "Leave, never return," Goku roars. Raditz leaps up and looks at his brother. Still coated in this negative ki aura, his scouter cannot sense his ki. Judging from how painful those attacks were, he isn't sure if this is a fight he can win. "Don't be so confident, Kakarot. In a year's time, Saiyans far stronger than you will come here and do your mission for you." Goku isn't scared though. He'll be ready. To prepare, all the humans must start training up right now. Goku during this time focuses on his negative ki and developing his abilities. Alongside this, he focuses on training his son, Gohan. He doesn't have the negative ki he does, but he's very talented. Not only that, but Piccolo Jr. starts training. Piccolo Jr. isn't training with them, but Goku gives him the message. Much stronger Saiyans will come in a year's time, so Piccolo starts training on his own. The humans start training amongst themselves mainly, but they also face Goku, and this makes them progress more quickly. Goku has formed a special upgrade to his negative ki technique, an offshoot of the ape instinct form, a technique that he has to use while he's in that state. He calls it his instinct domain. Now this domain consists of a circular area with him at the center. He enters his ape instinct form as a base, however he receives a significant power boost while in this form. What comes as an addition is an extension of his own instinct, the intimidation and pure rage of the Uzaru within him. This Uzaru can be used to almost totally freeze those that enter the domain. Not only that, but the more they act on that fear, the more the power is lost. Hesitation, retreat, contradiction in their physical action and their mental desires, all these will weaken the warriors. They become terrified of hurting Goku and doing anything that stops him doing what he wants to do. If they act against his will, they will also lose power. It takes a lot of energy to maintain, but it's almost a surefire win for Goku when people enter that domain, unless they're just so strong that the fear isn't enough to stop them. Just as Raditz said, the Saiyans return. They return with Raditz. The other two were very reluctant in coming here to this world. It doesn't concern them honestly. However, Raditz claims that Goku is stronger than Nappa. This makes him want to come to Earth, just to amuse himself and prove Raditz wrong. Goku's power level is lifted to 5,000 by the time of Nappa's arrival. Gohan follows somewhat closely behind with a power level of 3,500. Piccolo's power level is also at that same level. Tien's power level is at 2,000. Krillin's is 1,900 and Yamcha's 1,800. Chaozu lags behind slightly with a power level of 1,600 but is still strong in his own right. Goku stands at the front of the group, fearless in front of these people. Nappa runs his scouter over Goku and laughs upon seeing the reading. As the fight approaches, Goku plants his feet, ready to practice one of his techniques. He takes a strong leap forward, then lands in just the right range. Once he activates it, they'll all be in his domain. Slamming his feet into the ground, a black barrier shows up that blocks out the spectating Z-fighters. What's happening? Gohan asks, going up to touch this barrier. I don't know, but I feel like Goku's winning this, Krillin comments. Inside this barrier is Goku inside his own domain. The terrain looks the same, but what is different is the sky. It's turned to a pitch black with a massive glowing full moon in the sky, almost like a supermoon. Vegeta and Nappa think it's their chance to transform, but no such urge befalls them. It's simply an illusion. The realm doesn't have the blood waves to make them transform. Goku starts shifting and using more of the features of the grey tape. As this happens, Nappa and Vegeta get hit with intense fear. They don't even get to think about how he can transform while they can't. Their bodies tense up and it feels like moving would result in their death. Just looking at Goku sends this powerful fear through his whole body. Vegeta is unable to let this fear get to him. It just makes him feel so inferior, so weak. What even is this? It's totally artificial. He knows there's nothing to fear. Vegeta tries to take a step forward, but he feels his legs stay frozen. Suddenly, he feels a portion of his energy leave him. With that, so does his power level. Vegeta continues to fight his urges, but he feels his body getting heavier and slower as he does so. After repeatedly trying to move, his power level has dropped to 16,000 within this realm. Goku charges at the crew and aims for Nappa first. Goku wants to attack him and Nappa knows blocking it will go against his will, so he stands there and lets it happen. He wants to move, he badly wants to move, but the terror inside him says otherwise. Goku hits him in his chest, folding him and launching him to the edge of this vast realm. Nappa is completely knocked out and this leaves only Vegeta to deal with. However, Goku's already running out of energy. He's going to have to do something fast if he wants this to be of any aid. Vegeta's power has leaked even more. He now has a power level of 14,000 in this realm. This gives Goku just the advantage he needs. Goku smashes his face with a strong right hand and as he drops he throws up a knee to his forehead. Finally, he grabs one of his arms, spins, then violently slams him. The realm crumbles with this slam, and Goku stands over Vegeta with a strong pant. He didn't realize just how much energy that realm would take. It's also something he must constantly pay attention to. It's a mental effort as well as a physical one. This dark hemisphere cloaking them fades and reveals what's happened to the puzzled spectators. Vegeta holding his chest in pain and with a bleeding face and arm. Nappa knocked out and close to death with his grave injury. The prince stands and Goku readies himself for his attack. However, he gets up and turns and slaughters Nappa and Raditz with blasts instead. He kills his own companions without a second thought. What did you do? Goku asks, angered by his brutality. They were of no use to me, Vegeta claims, before getting back up. Vegeta speeds past Goku and aims a powerful wave of ki blasts at the Z-fighters behind him. He's just so overcome with rage. The fear that he felt was unlike anything he's experienced. To be so scared of someone like Goku makes him feel sick. The humans ready themselves, with Gohan at the front and ready to fend off these incoming blasts. Goku has turned and is already approaching them, but the blasts are too close. He won't stop all of them. He throws out a strong ki blast, imbued with the strength of negative ki to help how he can. Krillin throws his destructor disc, aided by his adrenaline. It makes him create it quickly and takes out one of the blasts before it gets too close. Gohan smacks another away, but the unrelenting wave of ki blasts keeps coming. Tien sees one coming close to Chaozu and saves his closest friend by sacrificing his own life. The blast hits him head on and takes him out. Piccolo, swiping away one blast, gets hit with one and a large part of his body is shaved right off, a very gory sight. He falls and starts bleeding out heavily. Yamcha leaps over one and while he is in the air forms his power ball. Throwing it down with his fingers, it slams into an incoming blast and destroys it. As for the remaining blasts, Goku throws out many of his own ki blasts to take out the remaining wave. As the smoke clears, he's opened up to a terribly gory sight. Piccolo, injured almost beyond recognition. Yamcha, dead. Tien, dead. Goku turns back to Vegeta with his burning flame of rage inside him, just what he needs. That heavy weight around his heart creates a source of a negative ki. This negative ki flares out wildly and coats his body. Next, he taps into the ape instinct and his power level skyrockets. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care about mediating the rage. He just wants more and more power. The rage, the grief, the bloodlust. You can't deny that it feels good in the moment. He blasts forward and throws his son off his feet from the wind gust released. Goku throws a punch that goes straight through Vegeta's armor and into his body. Somehow his flat fist has gained the piercing strength of a bullet or blade. Viciously ripping his arm out, he opens his mouth to reveal a menacing set of fangs. In that mouth, a large ki blast forms and hits Vegeta. Even just the kinetic energy of the blast throws Vegeta off his feet. What follows is the devastating explosion and it launches Vegeta into some rock. Vegeta thinks about unleashing his fake moon but coughs up masses of blood as he tries to get up. The gaping wound in his gut is too debilitating. Not only that, but his other injuries only add to that weakness and pain. His strategy has to change. Escape is the only viable option. Goku charges at him with an unbridled rage that he only sees from uncontrolled Uzaru. In those pale red eyes is a primality and savageness unseen with other species. He takes a massive swing at Vegeta's head and cracks his skull from the impact. It sends him spinning and spinning before falling. Goku extends his arms and ruthlessly fires ki blasts at point blank range. This is too much firepower for Vegeta to sustain and live from. After the wave of ki blast cuts out, all that's left is a few scorched pieces of his armor. Goku turns, seeing Krillin and Gohan watching him in fear. He then sees the corpses behind them and erupts with even more anger. This anger gives him power, making him even more inclined to increase his anger. However, as his anger grows, the distinction between ally and foe fades. Soon the two categories blend together and what's left is simply prey. Goku charges at the duo and Krillin uses his quick thinking. "Shut your eyes, Gohan," he shouts before using his solar flare. "Fly away, go," Krillin shouts, lifting into flight himself. Gohan nods and flies himself. The two fly off, and once Gohan sees he can fly significantly faster than Krillin, grabs him and escapes. Goku, annoyed by this flash of light, feels an even greater boost of strength. What he's forgetting to realize is the energy and bodily demands. Now he's overcome with rage, basic logic and strategy has faded. This is a form he just can't maintain forever. The longer he uses it, the more it beats down his body. Not only that, but the more he grows in strength, the higher the energy demand is. His body even starts to steam from the physical damage. He bats his chest like an ape, with each chest slam sounding like a bomb's gone off. He then lifts into the air and roars at the very top of his lungs. The roar is incredibly loud and terrifies humans that hear it. Things are not looking good at all. Krillin and Gohan have retreated and see Goku venture off to a nearby city. This is not going to end well. They have to follow him. They're the only ones left that can do anything at this point. The two chase after him in flight and both warriors end up in a large city nearby. Goku lands on a skyscraper, looking at the humans below that are all quite alarmed by the loud sound they heard. Opening his mouth, he shoots down a large red blast that takes out a massive chunk of this city. The ape-like warrior leaps from the tower and his fur flows elegantly from the air, brushing and flowing against him. He lands onto a shorter tower, then flips down onto the main street. A group of humans look at him, terrified by his appearance. Goku snarls at them, lifting an arm to attack them. "Goku, calm down," Krillin shouts from behind him. Gohan rushes in front of his father, getting in between the innocent humans and him. Goku looks at Gohan, then looks up to the massive cloud of smoke flowing off, a result of his own actions. This freezes him. For a few seconds he does nothing, however the shift starts to fade. The fur starts to shorten, the ape-like features of his body fade. He grows shorter from his 6'2" height to around his usual 5'9". Exhausted and injured, he just flops to the ground. Krillin and Gohan rush to his aid before providing him with a senzu bean. If he got angry and attacked that city, he definitely could have died. His power level increases to 7,000, not a massive Zenkai boost, but a good one nonetheless. What happened? Goku wonders. He's a hazy, but they start coming back to him once he calms. He did all of this. The mental state he entered, it was like he was a different person. Now in the city center, almost thousands are dead, innocents. Goku drops to his knees. How was he any better than Vegeta, Nappa? At least they had a reason for killing. Even if it was vain, for monetary reasons, what reason does he have? He trained, he had the power to control himself, but he let it get to him. As dark as it sounds, it felt good. To fall into the darkness, the pain, the torment. Now thousands have paid that price. Krillin and Gohan just try and get him out the area for now. It's best he doesn't get bogged down with what he's done. Now they have to figure out what to do next, how to revive those that have been killed. Goku returns to his senses and the group decide to head to Namek to get their Dragon Balls. With those, they'll revive everyone killed by Goku in that form and by Vegeta. They'll find Kami's ship and Bulma gets it working again. Soon after, the four of them are on their way to Namek. In the journey, Goku spends this time working diligently on his mental strength. He enters the ape instinct form but in a very controlled manner. He enters it in meditation and tries to maintain as calm a state in the form as possible. for very minor levels of the form, and he finds himself feeling pretty much the same as he does usually. Even entering the form, the memories of his wrongdoing stop him from using it. It's almost traumatic now. However, with great introspection and meditation, Goku feels a better control over it. It's just embattled. He doesn't know if he can trust himself to use it just yet. After about a month or so, the crew arrive on Namek and begin their search for the Dragon Balls. Eventually, Goku and Gohan venture out to try and find a Dragon Ball. As they do, they can see Frieza and his army directly facing some Namekians. The way they're dealing with them is inhumane to say the least. They can see several dead Namekians laid everywhere. Goku instructs Gohan to stay behind, the power gap is just way too large. However, Gohan's rage is not something that he can contain. He's young after all. It soon gets the best of him and he dives down toward the Doria as he's about to strike Dende. Kicking him in his armor plate, Goku swoops in there and grabs Dende and brings him to safety. He lands gracefully, cloaked in this beautiful aura of black and blue negative ki. The uniqueness to his aura makes the warriors focus on him. However, their scouters have just been destroyed by Mori to remove their tracking abilities. Gohan then turns towards Zarbon and sprints at him. Still overcome with rage, it gives him just the power he needs. He wins Zarbon with a single punch to his gut and cracks his armor. Next, Goku rushes by him and realizes the urgency of the situation. There's a source of anger from the surroundings and he relies on it. He can sense how strong Frieza is and so needs as much power as possible to keep his son safe. He activates his Ape Instinct form and strikes Zarbon directly on his face. It's an open palm strike and used mainly to just increase the distance between them. Zarbon, shaking his head, feels beyond annoyed. From his features, he assumes that it's a Saiyan. This only angers him more. He sprints toward this warrior and Frieza lets him get his anger out. He wants this person gone anyway. What he sees next shocks him. This fighter throws a perfect left hook as Zarbon advances, followed by a strong upwards kick to launch him into the air. Goku leaps, cracking the ground beneath him, then unleashes a vicious combination of punches and kicks Zarbon struggles to resist. Each hit lands with a bang and looks very painful. They release shockwaves that bend the air, giving his attacks this mystical odd effect. Finally, he concentrates a wild amount of negative ki into his fist to rocket Zarbon down to the ground. He hisses after feeling the sting run down his hand. If he throws another attack like that, he might be unable to use his right hand for the rest of the day. Zarbon falls headfirst into the ground below, nearly knocked out by that hit alone. However, his resolve and the fear of embarrassment in front of his leader helps him race. As he does, he immediately begins his transformation. Both warriors, now transformed and ready to continue their battle, race at each other as fast as they can. The two warriors clash, with Goku having the slight upper hand. However, the hit does hurt him, he can't lie about that. It seems like he's going to have to remain at this level. The angrier he gets, he does get stronger, but his hold on negative ki weakens. He can't use its perks as well. He doesn't want to use a domain just yet. He'll leave that as his trump card, when he reveals that it won't have the same surprise effect if he was to use it again. Goku calmly exhales and feels his body shifting back slightly to human form. With that, he feels himself growing weaker. Zarbon doesn't just sit back and let him do this, he takes this opportunity to attack. Blasting off his feet and literally leaping at Goku, he lands a strong punch. However, while the Saiyan's being thrown back, he condenses his negative ki. He condenses it specifically into his fist. The aura grows dense and chaotic and leaves some micro tears in his muscle. It's nothing Goku can't steal through though. Landing a strong uppercut on Zarbon, the hit lands with a boom and launches him off his feet. He's catapulted into the air and sent flailing around, and Goku leaps right after him. Pulling back his left leg, he thrusts it out with a massive negative ki condensed into it to add to its power. The hit hurts both fighters but hurts Zarbon a lot more. Zarbon takes this kick directly to his chest and shoots him back down to ground. After those two powerful attacks, Goku grits his teeth from the pain. However, Zarbon's no longer moving. The fight is done. He lands beside Goku and grabs him in Dende. He swiftly speeds away and Frieza looks at his fallen right hand man with disgust. Instead of doing anything himself, he just flies off and calls in the Ginyu force. He's sure they can deal with them. Goku and Gohan arrive back at their base and Dende is pleased to have been brought to safety. While he's here, Dende reveals that Guru has a Dragon Ball, so he directs them to his location. Goku takes Krillin this time and the three of them speed off toward the location. Goku uses his negative ki since it isn't registered by scouters. Not only that, but it adds to his speed and gets them to their destination more quickly. Upon arrival, they receive a Dragon Ball and Guru grants both Krillin and Goku potential unlockings. Krillin's power level lifts up to a strong 18,000. He flexes his muscles, excited by the strength coursing through him. Goku's power level rises to 40,000, a massive increase. Everyone in the room can feel it. The only person he's second to is Nail, and not by much at all. There's nothing to fear though. They know this man is kind-hearted as Guru sensed it. Based on his demeanour, it seemed like he had good intentions as well. As they fly away, Goku stops upon sensing 5 strong ki in the sky. They're dark in nature, but Goku doesn't know much more than that. They're unknown ki, but he's sure nothing good can come of them. Goku is confident he could take down these fighters though. The Namekians at Guru's palace healed his wounds, and so the many micro injuries he sustained are gone. This allows him to fight at his maximum potential from the jump. Goku tells Krillin to take Dende back and covertly brings Gohan over to Guru's palace. He'll deal with these fighters. Upon arrival, Captain Ginyu has already left to Frieza to receive direct orders. As for the others, they engage in direct combat with Goku. Gordo stops time by holding his breath and begins to fight himself. He uses his telekinesis to form massive beams of wood with sharpened edges. Thrusting them at Goku, they leave some shallow cuts but fail to dig deep into his flesh. Gordo stops holding his breath and switches to his freezing abilities. Goku tries to step forward but feels his body stop. There's this strong resistance keeping him still. Oh well, the only solution to this problem he can think of is to just use as much power as he can. He digs deep and focuses on the anger from memories. Just as he usually does, the negative ki floods his body and he enters his ape instinct form. The negative ki rolls around his body and he breaks free from the body freeze quite easily. He attacks Gordo before he can even react, kicking his head and nearly taking off his head with the force behind it. Gordo slides back to his comrades now dead. Jace speeds forward next and Goku makes a stance in anticipation. Jace throws a front kick that Goku easily dodges and slips under a hook aimed at his head. Jace overextends for his third attack and just runs into Goku's next hit. Goku catches his left hand and throws forward his left leg, landing a strong front kick to his solar plexus that makes Jace throw up and drop to his knees. Planting his left leg, he swivels and lands a strong spinning kick to the side of his head and leaves him incapacitated. Next, he attacks the remaining Ginyu Force members. Berta, the fastest warrior in the universe, he thinks, has quickly met his match. He speeds forward with a flurry of punches, aiming to take Goku off guard with his speed. However, he can parry or evade every single one. Somehow he's matching his own speed. A massive hit to his ego. Goku suddenly grabs both of his wrists, then pulls and headbutts him. The sudden strong force leaves Berta dizzy and uncoordinated. The Saiyan concentrates and condenses negative ki into his fist and lands a finisher strike to his chest. His punch destroys his armor and sends him flying back into a Raccoon behind him. The large warrior throws his comrade aside and sprints at Goku, fueled by the lust for vengeance for his fallen brothers. He leaps at Goku and swings down both of his mammoth arms. Goku daringly takes this slam onto his arms and only slides back a minute amount. In this state, he doesn't like fighting in a passive way. He likes going in head first and out-muscling his opponent. He lands a strong palm slam on Raccoon's solar plexus and follows up with 3 attacks of the same nature. Finally, he aims up and strikes Raccoon in his jaw with an upwards kick. He slams his jaw shut and breaks many of his teeth while lifting him off his feet as well. Raccoon, knocked out, lands and Captain Ginyu is revealed from behind him. He looks around surprised at all his teammates dead or defeated. He looks back up at Goku and tries to scan his power. Much to his surprise, he comes back with a null reading. He clicks the scouter reflexively. These things happen, it doesn't always work the first time. Surprisingly, it comes back as null once again. It just can't detect his strength. Goku bats his chest like an ape, drawing more into his anger and strength. His power level just with negative ki and without ape instinct sits above Ginyu's. Now with the ape instinct form on top of that, the gap between them is truly massive. He utterly speed blitzes Captain Ginyu with his initial movement. He lands a crushing punch to his throat, then grabs his arm and spins. He slams Ginyu, leaving him with a terrible painful injury to the back of his head and spine. Goku then resorts to brutal ground and pound, throwing down his arms while dropping his body. After he's done, Ginyu is done. Goku reverts to his base form and looks at the sight around him. It looks terrible. He got carried away again. Goku knows he can revive these people with the Dragon Balls, but that's not an excuse. He must stay more reserved, or else innocents could die. What happens when someone close to him is hurt? That addictive anger could send him off the rails again. Regardless, he blasts away and aims to return to his friends. As he arrives, Gohan's had his potential unlocked and has a power level of 30,000 himself. The group have a rather large collection of Dragon Balls, but are terrified to see who they've attracted, Frieza. I was vigilant to track you down after you defeated my forces. Looks like you have the ability to suppress your strength. Interesting, Frieza comments. Frieza then demands for their Dragon Balls. None of them are willing to let them go. Goku stands forward and prepares to face Frieza directly. He can sense his strength and feels like there's a gap. He has to think of a strategy before entering his ape instinct form. If he doesn't, he might not win. When he does, the power and anger makes him irrational. It can lead him into a non-optimal situation. So Goku signals for the group to flee. All of you, go, quickly, Goku shouts back. Slamming his hands together, negative ki appears around him and so does his domain. Frieza gets trapped right in it and his negative ki grows around him. Not only that, but his ape instinct form appears too. He can already feel the energy draining from him, but he trusts the process. Frieza, still in his first form, feels locked in place by this domain. Looking around, he sees the sky has turned to a pitch black, only illuminated by the stars and a bright full moon. He looks back to Goku, assuming he'll transform into some Uzaru form. However, he enters this intermediary state he hasn't seen before. Frieza, much stronger than Vegeta or Nappa, has the strength to resist this fear. Goku sees him take a step, but this all works in his favour. The more Frieza resists and tries to reach him, the weaker he'll become. He takes another step and starts slowly walking at him. He takes long breaks in between his steps, trying to summon the strength to continue. However, the more he walks, the fear grows. His power level dips with that too. His power level has already dropped to 440,000 from the much higher 530,000 level. Not only that, but if he doesn't fully break through this wall of fear, his attacks will be nothing. Goku makes sure to walk around in his domain, trying to keep Frieza out of range. He keeps Frieza walking around trying to catch him. As he does, he's just getting weaker and weaker. After a while, Frieza's power level has dropped to 340,000 and Goku is running out of energy quickly. This is his last shot. Goku doesn't want to draw upon more anger, but he might need to. The power he has now might not be a surefire win. He delivers an extremely powerful punch and launches Frieza out of the domain while snapping his own arm in two. The sudden pain is what he can use to bring him back to his humanoid form though. Dende rushes to his aid and heals his wounds. The extreme exertion on his body left him with severe extensive physical damage. This brings his power level up to 100,000, a big boost. He raises up and dusts himself off before looking toward Frieza. Is that the end of it? They hope so. The group venture off and collect all the Dragon Balls with their trusty Dragon Radar. With all the Dragon Balls in one place, they summon Porunga. The large dragon reveals himself and is ready to realise their wishes. Firstly, they ask for those killed by Goku in his Ape Instinct form to be revived. However, Porunga explains he cannot complete that request. He can only revive single people. That's annoying. It sounds like the Earth Dragon Balls are much more useful. Dende gets ready to make his wish, but someone suddenly arrives. Frieza, in his final form. He's bleeding down the side of his head and not doing the best, but has more than enough strength. His body can take a lot of damage and still function well. He dives down there and slaps Dende straight away. Next, he extends both arms and fires all the remaining warriors away. Frieza demands Porunga to give him immortality, but he instructs him that he'll have to speak in the Namekian language. Shortly after, Guru dies from the stress of the whole situation. He looks back to the Dragon Balls and they turn to nothing but stone. They've been rendered useless. How is this possible? Frieza turns to these warriors and wants to take out his anger on them. With Goku healed up again, he uses his domain. Sealing Frieza in place, he's shocked to see him fly at him and punch him out his own domain. He hits the hemispherical barrier and breaks it. Even in his Ape Instinct form, Frieza is much stronger than him. That won't work anymore, Frieza shouts before grabbing Goku by his neck and slamming him. The attack hurts like hell, and he coughs out blood. Frieza then throws down a number more attacks. Goku must use negative ki to act as a shield here. The ki, when condensed, might cause internal damages, but it protects from external forces as well. Even with his armor laid across his skin, each hit lands hard and hurts like hell. The others watch this happen and see that if they don't step in, Goku could die. His ki is falling at alarming rates. He resists initially, but his body flops after he loses consciousness. If he dies, they all die. Krillin rushes forward and appears right in front of Frieza. Taking him off guard, he uses his solar flare and blinds him. Seconds later, Dende arrives by Goku's side and heals his wounds. Goku feels his power skyrocket. A massive Zenkai. He lifts up to his feet now with a power level of 3.5 million. Stay back, Goku shouts. However, Frieza beats him to it. Before the group can retreat, he blasts Dende and takes him out with that blast alone. Next, he aims for his young son, Gohan. Flying at him, Goku enters his Ape Instinct form and gets in the way of this. He lands a strong elbow to Frieza to throw him off course. Next, he knees Frieza down and tries to keep him restrained. Goku urges Gohan to run while holding Frieza down with all his strength. He can keep him down momentarily, but the stronger fighter lifts. Frieza's power level is at 60 million right now, an enormous increase. Frieza lifts and turns to swing his tail at Goku. It lands on his arm and throws him off his feet. Frieza aims his left hand up, then closes his right eye. With Gohan at range, he shoots a number of death beams. They continuously fire and every single one pierces through Gohan. He falls from flight and Goku sprints toward his falling son. Grabbing him before he can impact the ground, he sees 2 death beams through his heart, with several others through his torso. Gohan tries to get some words out but coughs out blood and passes in his father's arms. The sudden rage and its intensity. Goku drops his son, slowly closing his eyes before turning to Frieza. The power inside him continuously grows and grows. It starts to get out of hand, but Goku doesn't care anymore. How dare he hurt his son like this? He was so young, he shouldn't have had to go through such a thing so young. It doesn't matter that he can be wished back. Frieza's brutality, his son's death, it all works to fuel him and increase his strength. His mind goes haywire. It's like he's not even a person anymore. The raging Uzaru inside takes control. Suddenly though, something changes. The 8 features over his body are suppressed along with his negative ki. This is due to the activation of the S cells inside him. Something greater is coming. Roaring at the very top of his lungs, his Super Saiyan form is born. His power level skyrockets to 175 million, a phenomenal increase. Goku looks down, surprised at his sudden control and power. With the rage inside him, he draws upon negative ki and the blue-black aura substitutes in for the golden one. His power level then skyrockets past its previous limit, but he can feel his stamina draining. This form already isn't easy for him to sustain, and his negative ki in tandem with it is almost like his domain. He's not going to need long though. Goku almost appears in front of Frieza from his enemy's perspective, grabbing his tail and spinning. Spinning violently, he slams him then lifts again. He spins once and launches Frieza into the air. He leaps and arrives directly above Frieza. Condensing negative ki into his right fist, it vibrates from the intense energy coursing through it. He swings down and hits Frieza directly in his chest. He fires down like an arrow and releases a massive cloud of dust and earth from the impact. It makes the whole planet shake. The dust cloud slowly disperses, revealing a heavily injured Frieza at its center. Just those 2 attacks have left him terribly injured. Goku dives down at him, still angry and with malice. Frieza looks terrified upon seeing this and aims up his only remaining arm. He fires out a blast to try and just keep Goku away, but it does nothing. He comes diving down and swipes the blast away before landing by his side. With his death in sight, Frieza pleads for his mercy. He will leave and not do anything to attack or hurt anyone ever again. Goku believes him for now and starts walking away. As he does, Frieza takes this chance to try and blast him with his back turned. Goku senses the blast coming his way long before the blast reaches him. Turning, he catches it and just disintegrates it with a squeeze. With a strong energy wave, Frieza is taken out pretty easily. There is nothing that he can do to resist and he is thrown into the depths of space. Steam flows off Goku's extended hand and he goes off to help his friends. The Dragon Balls here are useless and so they're going to have to wish for all those killed back on Earth. So, stealing one of Frieza's ships and with Bulma's intuition, they head on their way back to Earth. Here they use the Dragon Balls to wish for everyone killed by Goku in his Ape Instinct form to return. Smartly, this leaves Frieza out of things. If he is dead, that means he'll stay dead. That's what they assume the outcome is. However, there's no way for them to revive Gohan. Goku didn't think this through. Gohan is going to have to stay dead for another year. His friends are back, yes, but it leaves him with this empty feeling inside. Shortly after though, Gohan talks to his father directly. He stated that he's well and trading with someone called King Kai, whoever that is. Goku is just amazed to hear his son's voice and is happy to see he's alive. On King Kai's planet, Gohan starts learning Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. Back on Earth, they have a big problem on their hands. Vegeta has been revived along with others. As he wakes up, he pats himself down and sees he's been fully healed. He slowly lifts and looks at the terrain around him. There's dried blood everywhere, but the bodies of the humans he killed are nowhere to be found. He clicks his scouter and sees a number of strong ki in the distance. Their power levels are in the thousands, but nothing he can't deal with. Vegeta smirks and flies right over there to see what's happening. In the sky, he sees the several Dragon Balls flying out across the sky. Whatever those glowing orbs are, he has no clue, but that's not a concern to him. He dives down and lands to see Krillin and Goku. Once he lands, they turn and recognize him. Kakarot, Vegeta roars. Vegeta's overcome with rage. From what he can recall, Goku brutally hurt him and beat him. To him though, he kind of just passed out and woke up. This has badly hurt his ego though. He's here to get his get back. Krillin, I think you can deal with him, Goku says. Krillin nods, walking forward toward Vegeta. He crouches slightly then starts drawing upon the strength within. His aura rages around him and Vegeta is left stunned. Krillin begins and lands a strong punch to Vegeta's gut, who's still shocked by his power reading. Vegeta blocks the next 2 attacks from him before landing a jab of his own, then a kick to the chest. The 2 fighters separate before charging back at one another. Much to Vegeta's dismay, the 2 fighters seem to be equals. Their attacks carry similar force and both have significant skill and expertise. Vegeta hasn't exactly been trained by anyone like Krillin, but he just has a lot of natural talent and experience. Krillin suddenly takes Vegeta off guard with a solar flare blinding him. This gives him the chance to create his destructive disc and finish him off. He chucks it at Vegeta, but Goku is the one to arrive in between them and destroy it with a tap. No, I don't want you to kill him, Goku says. Why? You killed all our friends and all his. Why should we leave him alive? Krillin retorts. Trust me, you don't want that on your conscience, he replies. Turning back to Vegeta, he taps him in the neck with such force that he knocks him out right away. He tries to think of what to do here but just chooses to leave him. Goku and Krillin fly off after reviving everyone and begin this period of peace. During this peace, Goku has made a massive breakthrough in his negative ki. He starts mixing the negative ki in random ways and suddenly discovers the next step. When he fuses the ki in a unique specific way, he forms a higher and totally different form of ki, positive ki. It's hard for him to do so and it requires a lot of negative ki. However, even just little amounts of positive ki do wonders. When he trains, he finds that the ki has healing effects. Since he can only generate so little right now, he can't just heal himself fully. However, it significantly improves his recovery time and means he can get stronger faster. The limiting factor is energy though. He can be physically healed but not necessarily rejuvenated. He can't just spam this healing and train insane amounts, he must moderate his training rate still. Once he no longer has the energy to go on, he has to rest. A long painful year for him passes and the Dragon Balls are active again. With Dende's help, he also gets 2 wishes. He wishes for Gohan to be revived and teleported back to Earth. It works like a charm and his son is finally back. After training with King Kai, Gohan's power level is lifted to 100,000 and he has 2 strong techniques in his arsenal now, the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. Shortly after Gohan returns to Earth, Mecha Frieza and King Cold arrive. Frieza's here for nothing but revenge and King Cold wants to see the Saiyans that left his son in such a bad state. They step out their large ship and are met by the strongest warriors of Earth, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, Vegeta, Gohan and finally Goku. Goku stands at the forefront of this team. They didn't stay off course to Yardrat but stayed on Earth and honed their craft. Goku's control over negative ki has grown and he can now use the Super Saiyan form at will. Mecha Frieza reveals himself now stronger than he was even with his 100% form. He readies himself to attack and launches at Goku. The Saiyan's hair slowly flows and lifts, his muscles grow in size slightly and he enters his Super Saiyan form. His power level is increased to over this year up to 5 million, giving him a massive 250 million power level. This is before he uses any negative ki as well. Frieza swings out one of his long legs, but Goku slips past it. With him brushing past his extended leg, he grabs him by the head and brutally slams him. However, Frieza takes this hit surprisingly well. There's a gap between them, but Frieza's durability keeps him in the game. He springs back up to his feet even if part of his face is sparking and cracked. Frieza throws out 2 quick punches that Goku has no issue with dodging. Next, he parries his third attack and kicks Frieza in his torso. The crushing kick drops him to a knee and makes him grit his teeth in pain. Goku can see the anger and spite growing in his face. Frieza came here with a new body and thought he could win, however Goku has shut down all those dreams. He's gotten stronger as well. He looks back to his father with a look of embarrassment that he swiftly washes away. Back on his 2 feet, he throws forward both arms and tries to use the art of surprise, a quick but powerful energy wave. It's wide and tall and extremely bright. He holds nothing back. It seems to hit Goku head on, but he has appeared behind Frieza. That won't work, he coldly remarks from behind him. Frieza swiftly turns to see a cold blue aura surrounding his fist, negative ki. Before he can even react, the fist smashes into his face with astounding force. It lands with a loud bang that makes some of the spectating fighters flinch. Frieza's sent spinning into a mountain wall and doesn't move from it. It seems like the job is done. Goku looks to King Cold, ready to take him on as well. Someone else takes him down in his stead though, Future Trunks, a new Super Saiyan. After this point, he decides to have a spar with Goku to test his strength. The Saiyan prepares himself and sees him swing his sword. Focusing negative ki into his finger, he taps it aside and cracks the sword with that light tap. Future Trunks looks at him shocked. So this is the power that Goku had. In their timeline, Goku was their only hope. Not only was he their strongest warrior, but his techniques were so unique. He gave the androids a lot to work with. Whenever he'd fight the androids, he always kept them on their toes. But he succumbed to the heart virus and they lost their strongest warrior. Their chances of success were pretty much over after that happened. Future Trunks talks specifically to Goku, explaining who he is and why he's here. Androids will come in 3 years' time, powerful beyond comprehension. Goku puts up a good fight but is eventually killed by a heart virus. So he gives them the cure as a preemptive measure and the Z fighters begin training. Upon hearing these future events, it makes Goku think. Positive ki is a power he's been working on, a derivative of negative ki with special healing properties. If he knew he'd be getting that virus, he could have possibly worked on his positive ki beforehand to heal himself. He's going to try it now. That's when he realizes just how helpful that could be. If he could learn to heal himself and others, it drastically improves their chances of defeating the androids. Once Future Trunks departs, everyone starts training to prepare for these incoming androids. 3 long years pass and everyone is ready. They arrive at the city of Sasebo where the androids strike first. Goku stands at the front of the group inspecting the city below. He can't sense the androids, making it harder to locate them. He's going to just have to jump in himself. This is exactly what he does. Diving down, he lands and begins his search. Unluckily, Yamcha is the first to locate them. He's trained well, but the androids were built to kill Goku. He simply doesn't match up to them. After getting gravely injured, Goku finds him from his decreasing ki signature. After 3 years, Goku's skill with positive ki has greatly improved. Not only can he use more at any one time, his ability to manipulate it has also gotten better. Gero throws Yamcha toward Goku without a concern for his life. The Saiyan rushes to his aid, crouching beside him. I hope this works, he thinks to himself. His hand glows with his negative ki and he closes his eyes to focus. He has to be quick, since closing his eyes leaves him vulnerable. The dark blue cloak of negative ki compresses and brightens up to a thin gleam of gold and white energy. Positive ki. Slamming Yamcha's wound, it makes him grunt in pain for a second, but it swiftly seals up. Goku takes a strong breath. The technique does take a lot of energy. It's not a linear correlation as well, it's more exponential. So when he wants to use more positive ki, he has to use an almost exponentially higher amount of negative ki to do so. It's a very useful technique, but not something that he can use recklessly. Goku doesn't want to fight here, there are too many lives in the vicinity. However, Gero isn't on the same page. He uses laser beams and brutally murders everyone around him. Now there's no life in danger. Goku grits his teeth, furious. It brings him back to when his ape instinct killed those people. Those innocent lives taken. Goku takes in a deep breath, unwilling to let his anger cloud his mind. He continues with a new focus to defeat these androids. After what they've already done, they must be defeated. They arrive in a nearby wasteland and 19 is the first to face him. Goku crouches and enters his Super Saiyan form. He speeds toward 19 and the two fighters slam into each other. The slam knocks 19 far back. Goku has the clear upper hand. The android comes rushing forward, but Goku swings in a crushing uppercut before it can close that gap. He swings down a devastating right cross swiftly after. Both attacks leave 19 disoriented for a moment and Goku strikes again. This time he focuses negative ki into his fist. It vibrates with intensity, greatly enhancing his arm strength. He swings and puts all his weight behind it. It's a beautiful motion, transferring every bit of mass he can into the final hit. A technique he's been practicing over these years, a punch of much greater power than his base power level. It lands on 19 and pretty much takes off its upper half. The remaining part of the android falls, leaving only Gero in his sights. Gero thought he could face Goku, but sees that's not the case. It's a bummer, but at least he had several other plans prepared. Weighing up his options, he chooses to escape. Using a blinding attack, he turns and uses this split second to fly off as fast as he can. Goku promptly tries to chase after him, but feels his weakness overcome him. Shortly after comes a sharp, debilitating pain from his chest. The heart virus, it has arrived. He thinks of bowing out the fight and taking the cure just to rest. It's like he doesn't even have the strength to stand up anymore, however he knows he can't do that. Trunks gave him the chance to prepare for this. His positive ki can stop this. Goku lifts a finger, stopping those that rush to his aid. Go after him, I'll only be a moment, Goku says. No, you need to rest, you have the virus Trunks was talking about, he states. I know that, but I can stop it. Just go after him, we don't know what he'll do next, Goku insists. As much as they want to get Goku to step down and rest, he's far too stubborn. He makes it clear that he's going nowhere. They're dubious but still have trust in Goku. He's the strongest, the best fighter they have. He wouldn't be saying all this without somewhat clear reasoning, so they leave him with Yamcha staying close by to see what happens. If anything happens, he'll just take him to Kame House and minister the cure and just let him rest. Goku's finger lights up with the bright gleam of positive ki. He doesn't stop there though, he continues feeding positive ki into his finger until it burns with the intense concentration of power. Stabbing it into his chest, he feels a much stronger pain than he anticipated. Turns out the heart virus pain is not just in the heart but the surrounding area as well. It's hard, but he steals through the pain and continues the process. He then starts pouring the positive ki out his fingertip and into his heart. The pain starts off terrible but starts to improve. At the cellular level, his immune system is greatly enhanced and starts battling the virus. His white blood cells are invigorated, more quick, more efficient, more versatile. The gold and white energy flows as a stream through his veins and capillaries. In seconds, after nearly draining his energy, the job is done. He pulls out his finger and the positive ki seals the open wound. Goku laughs with astonishment. He did it. He succeeded and is back in the fight. He's tired, he can't lie about that, but this is a much better outcome. He roars and powers up into Super Saiyan with excitement before speeding toward where the other fighters are. Upon arriving at the scene, he watches Android 18 kick Vegeta in his arm, snapping it in two. They're already here. These are the androids Trunks was talking about. Just as 18 tries to throw another attack, Goku comes to the rescue. He floods negative ki into his left arm, making it not just stronger but tougher. 18 punches such forearm and causes practically no damage. Goku slides back, standing firm. Get Vegeta back, Goku orders. Slamming his hands down, he switches from his Super Saiyan form to a lesser but more useful form, Ape Instinct. His domain comes into form and 18 is locked into it. This is just a test to see how strong she is. Just as he expected, she's strong enough to resist the fear. She does tremble and looks hesitant, but she powers through. She then strikes Goku into the edge of his domain. That isn't going to work then. As he grinds to a halt, he returns to his Super Saiyan form and condenses his negative ki into a strong ki blast. Firing it out at 18, it moves extremely quickly. Her eyes lift with shock at how fast it moves. She isn't even given enough time to properly react and must switch to a defensive mode. Lifting her arms into an X formation, the blast slams into her and detonates with a dumbfounding intensity. Yajirobe didn't anticipate just how much stronger negative ki makes Goku. When bundled up, the strength just climbs and climbs. She's thrown off her feet and slams into 17, also lifting him off his feet. Her arms have basically blown off from the attack. The attack was good, but Goku can't just pull that out of nowhere. He's visibly fatigued now, a state the sensu bean can't save him from. If the ki isn't there, nothing can be done. If he wants to finish this off, he'll need to land a more decisive finisher. The two parties stay away to begin and try to find the proper opening. Goku starts off in Super Saiyan, which means a lot of his negative ki techniques aren't available. He can only use negative ki and positive ki. The domain or ape instinct form is off the table. 17 rushes in first, speeding toward the Saiyan. As he advances, Goku floods negative ki into his right palm to try and parry whatever's coming. The fist cuts through the air, incident on Goku's face. However, he taps the fist aside with a quick light tap and takes a step back in the same movement. Subsequently, he throws out a quick jab that lands. He follows up with a left kick aimed at his abdomen, then swings the right kick to his neck. The second kick has a lot more power in it and literally throws him aside. After being knocked to the side, 18 continues the assault. She comes rushing in with a kick, one that pretty much incapacitated Vegeta. However, with negative ki rushing over his right arm, he braces for impact and takes it. It's a heavy impact, something he probably won't do again. However, the negative ki softens the impact a good amount. 18 continues throwing a flurry of attacks and Goku does struggle. His superior technique does mean he can land good attacks and defend, but the androids are more powerful than him. 18 lands a jab to the body and 17 comes leaping over with a double drop kick straight to his head. This double drop kick literally lifts him off his feet and allows for 18 to slam him. This slam makes the ground quake and Goku struggles to take 18 off him. 17 walks around him, smiling at him now on the ground. It seems like he has been defeated. This is their chance. Goku pushes and pushes, but he just can't get free. Not only that, but the androids have infinite energy. They can hold him down for as long as they need to, while he'll tire and grow even weaker. 18 aims her hand at Goku's head and gets ready to take him out. However, a ki blast comes flying in from near them. Vegeta shoots the ki blast with his free arm, heavily injured. 17 turns and speeds toward him, annoyed at his intervention. With a single swing, Vegeta is knocked out and on the floor. He turns and arrives by Goku's side and already creates a ki blast. He's tired of the wait. Goku channels volumes of negative ki and continues to flood it through his body. It forms a full cloak and starts burning his internal organs and muscles. However, he doesn't stop there. He needs power to beat them. Power by any means necessary. He screams not just with rage, but in pain. His body struggling to take it, but is reaching the next level. A dark blue aura of ki explodes from his body and his eyes turn to pure red. The ape instinct form appears, combined with the Super Saiyan form. 18 looks down at him shocked. She wasn't expecting this. He impetuously shoves her off before leaping to his feet. He stares down these androids with his beastly red eyes. Fear strikes into their souls, leaving them almost frozen. He doesn't need his domain to stop them. They know what is coming. 16, who stayed back this fight, weighs up the options and realizes they have to go. There's no chance at success if they stay, so 16 takes off his arms and starts firing repeated explosions at him. This leaves Goku blind for a short time, and this is all they need to disappear. 16 slowly retreats while keeping Goku down, then speeds away at the right time. Goku in this focus form wants to chase after them. However, the pain acts as a link to his sane mind. Feeling that pain, the anger dwindles and the ape instinct form fades too. Shortly after this, Goku returns to his base. Injured and drained, he can't even use his positive ki to heal. He drops to his knees, steam emitting off his body. There are burns covering him that look visibly painful. However, the fighters in the vicinity rush to his aid so he can recover. Across the battlefield, Piccolo is fused with Kami to stay relevant in this fight. If he stayed without the fusion, he wouldn't be strong enough. Now, one of these strong AZ fighters, he's just had his first encounter with Imperfect Cell. However, he left before the fight ended with the use of the Solar Flare. This leaves these Z fighters in quite the predicament. They have to find the androids and Cell now. The Z fighters don't need to head to the time chamber to train. The main mission is to wait for Goku to recover. He's healed with the use of a sensu bean, but he needs his energy back. There's one that objects to this plan, however, the Prince of All Saiyans. While they're discussing in the Kame house, Vegeta is stood outside it with his arms crossed. Now healed with a sensu bean from Yamcha, he's just left contemplating the recent events. He was truly beat up. He hates to even admit it in his mind, but the memories keep playing. Trunks arrives by his side and also looks to the water that surrounds the island. I'm not waiting for Goku to heal, Vegeta says. It's dangerous if we don't. He's the only one that can defeat. I won't sit by and accept that. I'm going in that time chamber. Do you want to sit by and wait? These are the androids that hurt everyone in your timeline and you're going to sit by and watch this all play out, Vegeta asks. Just talking about it makes him angrier. I'm not staying. If you want to take things into your own hands, then you know where to find me, he states. Vegeta knows future Trunks is his son and this is basically a test to gauge his strength and resolution. Piccolo heads on his way and finds himself up against 17. He sprints towards 17 and throws out a jab. 17 easily evades his incoming punch and drives up a knee to his jaw. Dr. Gero was aware of how strong Goku was and made his androids exceptionally powerful to compete with him. That means everyone else is basically fodder for them. He throws a right cross straight after and drops Piccolo onto his hands and knees. He spits out blood and a broken tooth, then 17 grabs him by his shirt. Lifting him, he swings him up then back onto the ground before stomping on the back of his head. Piccolo strugglingly grabs onto one of his legs and pulls him up with it. Now he's on his 2 feet, he throws a swift 1-2 to his head. The 2 punches do connect but lack the power behind them. 17 is easily taking the impact. After tanking those punches, he just throws the same 2-piece himself. Each hit is more than 3 times as strong and basically knocks Piccolo out for a few seconds. I don't want to fight you, I want to know where Goku is, he commands. Dropping low and grabbing him by his neck, he pulls him up so they're face to face. I'll never tell you, Piccolo mumbles through a set of broken, bloody teeth. Android 17 mercilessly slams his head and lifts him again to ask the same question. This time Piccolo gives no response. 17 lifts and knees him in the face before grabbing him by the neck of his shirt and throwing him into the nearby waters. As he throws him, someone comes blasting out of it, a newly powered imperfect Cell. After absorbing human after human, he's grown much more powerful. Cell's skin is green with grey skin mixed in with that as well. Cell isn't just a standard bio-android, he's a cursed spirit. Dr. Gero capitalized on Goku's cells and extracted negative ki from them. Using that synthetically formed negative ki, he could use it to turn Cell into a powerful cursed spirit. With that, it means he runs not just on ordinary ki but negative ki. He's almost a manifestation of that energy. 17 tries to hit him at point blank range with a ki blast, however Cell steps aside and watches the blast fly across the water. It cuts through it and causes massive waves to fly out, but it eventually disintegrates. Straight after that, he elbows 17 in the jaw and aims to absorb him. 16 rushes into the fight and tries to stop him, but it's too late. Cell absorbs him and protects himself with a strong shield. 16 comes sprinting in and throws a strong punch backed by his impetus. However, it lands on this strong shield and has no true impact. All they can do now is watch. Cell transforms and enters his semi-perfect state. Now immensely powerful, nobody here can match him. He takes a step forward but someone stops him. Tien. He fires out his tri-beam and it does do something. Cell is stopped but then looks up to the source of this blast. Tien continues using his Neo Tri-Beam and the cursed spirit is forced into a crouch. However, the anger almost gives him more strength. He strugglingly lifts his right arm and fires out an energy beam at Tien. The beam fires through Tien's chest and inevitably kills him. He falls into the adjacent waters and leaves 18 almost unguarded. Cell gets ready to speed toward her but Vegeta appears in front of him. With his arms crossed and his face firm. In his face is no fear, no hesitation, nothing but unfaltering, unadulterated confidence. Behind Cell is future Trunks, now much more muscular. After a year of training, his hybrid Saiyan DNA has realised its potential. Vegeta immediately enters his Super Saiyan form. Upon doing so, it doesn't even affect him. After so much training, the grade 1 form is nothing to him. You're my fight now, leave that android out of things, Vegeta states. Cell plays his game for a while. He doesn't see the need to negotiate with him. He'll just take out Vegeta then move on to his proper target. Even if she runs, he'll find her eventually. She can only run so far. Semi-perfect Cell starts the fight with a right cross, a powerful deadly one. With the DNA of several highly trained warriors, it's in his blood. The hit leaves Vegeta a little unstable, but he leaps into the air and dodges any subsequent attacks. Even with his defensive fighting style, it can't keep him safe forever. Cell might be heavier, but is still faster and more agile. He arrives in front of Vegeta and grabs him by the head. He then dives down and slams his head into the air. Vegeta grits his teeth, now bloody from that. However, even with such injuries, he gets back up and wipes the blood off his face. Alright, you're not a pushover, just what I was hoping for, Vegeta says coldly. He crouches slightly before smiling more maniacally. Roaring at the top of his lungs, he begins his ascension. His muscles grow larger and more powerful. His hair grows longer and sharper. Vegeta shows off what he's been working on in the time chamber, Super Saiyan Grade 2. Even with his larger frame, he hasn't lost a bit of speed, just a superior form. He leaps at semi-perfect Cell and lands a clean right cross himself. He follows quickly after with a left uppercut to his jaw. His head is thrown back and leaves him open for further attack. Vegeta just throws a flurry of punches to his torso with his eyes turned away. They each land flush, but Cell does a great job at taking each hit. Next, he grabs Vegeta's right arm and pulls. Spinning as powerfully as he can, he lifts Vegeta off his feet and throws him into the ground. The slam is so powerful the island shakes. With his arm still in Cell's hand, he launches out a ki blast. This isn't really to hurt him but to blind him. Cell lets go of his arm briefly and it gives Vegeta the chance to escape. The fight hasn't been very smooth, but he's been in many fights. Even with a rough start, he can come out on top. On top of that, he has utmost confidence. He doesn't even take this introduction to heart. Cell charges forward, but he then swivels to arrive behind Vegeta. Once he plants both feet, he swings out his right leg and ruthlessly kicks Vegeta's arm. Next, he grabs him by the neck and lifts him. Solar Flare, Cell shouts, totally blinding Vegeta. After this, Cell doesn't attack. For some odd reason, he stays planted. Instead, he chooses to slam his hands together and stay put. Suddenly, a domain appears. The sky turns to that of space, littered with pink-white dots, glistening stars. The beautiful jaw-dropping scenery of the galaxy cutting across the sky. Now, they're stood on a gridded arena with Cell at the center. Totally planted, 5 odd beings appear in front of Vegeta. Complete clones of Vegeta, instead with black eyes and this sickly pale grey skin. Vegeta prepares himself, fearless. The group of warriors charge at him. The first comes in with a punch that he just about evades. After slipping past the incoming jab, he's hit in the head with 3 simultaneous right crosses. From the power of these punches, he can tell they're equal to himself. Next, one lands a devastating uppercut and another 2 grab his arms. This leaves him basically planted. On each arm is a being with equal strength to himself. There's no way he's breaking free. The remaining clone still on the ground throws a relentless flurry of punches that Vegeta can't block or evade. They continue firing with ferocity and unfaltering speed. Not only do they have equal strength to him, but no inhibitions, infinite energy, no pain, no fear. Vegeta manages to land a headbutt once he gets too close to see no reaction. He does so again and it yields the same result. The clone uppercuts him, then grabs his head to land a headbutt of his own. By pulling his head forward, it only adds to the force of its headbutt. The beatdown continues and really starts to hurt him. He can't take this beating forever. He only sees one option: to ascend, to reach further. He could feel that next step but didn't know if it was possible. He couldn't get there in the chamber, but there's necessity now. If that form doesn't exist, he dies. Powered by rage and adrenaline, he roars and engulfs in a roaring golden aura. He screams with a need and urgency he never had before. Cell tilts his head slightly with confusion. Just what does he have up his sleeve? His large muscles grow even larger, his spiky hair becomes even spikier, his body almost becomes grotesque with the massive muscle. His pupils burst and he ascends into the Ultra Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan Grade 3. With this greater strength, he pulls these clones off him by literally lifting them into the air. Then he slams them both and they poof away into a massive cloud of smoke. Next, he just sprints at the remaining clone. He might be slower, but with the great distance between them, he can pick up pace. Not only that, but his large size gives him a bunch of momentum. Just as he hoped, he throws the clone to the floor like a lineman and it also disappears. Vegeta turns and sees crackling golden energy in the sky, his ultimate attack about to be used against him, the final flash. 2 golden beams fire down at him and light up the whole domain in bright light. The whole time he was tunnel visioned and didn't realise that 2 clones had gotten away. Trunks can't see what's happening due to the barrier that surrounds the arena. This barrier basically contains the energy within this small pocket realm. Cell just puts his arms into an X formation and tanks the incoming blast. As the blast decays, nothing is left behind. Just as he wished for, Vegeta is dead. His own blast was the end of him, an insanely powerful energy wave intended for Cell. Trunks looks at the scene frozen with fear. Vegeta was practically his match and he's just been pulverized by Cell. He isn't even in his perfect form yet either. He wants to step in, he wants to do something, but what can he do? Cell turns to Trunks and points directly at him. "Don't do a thing. Do not stop me," he declares, before turning and flying off. Trunks, still shaking, just drops onto his knees. What's he done? He froze in the moment. He lets Cell go. In rage, he just punches the ground and it shakes. Is Goku strong enough to beat a perfect Cell? Trunks, still looking at the ground and with tears dropping onto the grass below, feels this sudden breeze over his head. Lifting with confusion, he can see this dark blue aura forming in the island's center. What is this about? The aura then turns into an almost humanoid shape. It confuses him at first, but he knows what it is after a short while. Vegeta, his father. His hair appears in this black-blue energy and starts to condense. It condenses and becomes darker, forming an even more humanoid shape. After about a minute, a being appears on the island. One knee on the ground, head down. Vegeta, not as a living being but as a cursed spirit, invigorated and resurrected by the masses of negative ki left in the vicinity. His skin is grey and his body seems significantly more muscular. Not only that, but he's a good few inches taller. Where is Cell? Vegeta asks, with a totally different voice. It does sound somewhat like him, but is more demonic and broken. He can hear these odd alien undertones to it. Speeding toward his future son, he grabs him, now furious after getting no response. "Tell me, what did you see? Where did he go?" he roars. "He went that way," Trunks strugglingly says, pointing out to the distance. Vegeta doesn't give him another look, he gets right on the mission. Cell arrives in front of 18. It didn't take him long for him to find her. He's fast and he has great perception abilities. He saw her from a mile away. "There's nowhere to run, 18. Nowhere," Cell shouts. He punches a tree to his side and uproots it. Shooting out his tail, he grabs onto 18 before she can even react. He begins the absorption and smiles. His perfect form is coming. His true form is coming to fruition. He shields himself with a gleaming layer of ki, stopping an incoming Vegeta from hurting him. He comes diving down and is unrelentless with his assault. Vegeta might be back, but his true mind isn't there anymore. He isn't really a person, but is instead an agent for vengeance, a cursed spirit, solely here to kill Cell. In his dying moments, he was filled with negative emotion, fear, rage, and most importantly, a lust for vengeance. He strikes at the shield and his fist completely rebounds. A kick almost amounts to nothing. Seconds later, perfect Cell is revealed. Vegeta doesn't care about this. There's no surprise or hesitation. He doesn't have those emotions anymore. All he is a manifestation of the vengeance he felt as he died. He repeatedly strikes Cell and finds his attacks do little. Now, as a cursed spirit, his body has become a weapon. It can manipulate in many weird ways to his will. 10 arms fire towards Cell and grab him on his limbs. Now this gets his attention. After being basically planted, Cell thrusts back and gets out the grasp of these hands. After releasing, each hand releases a barrage of ki blasts. Multiplying that by 10, it makes it an entire sphere of blasts. It's hard for Cell to even see Vegeta through the several dark blue blasts hurtling toward him. Even with this, Cell has terribly high speed. He just zips around and evades every single incoming blast. He continuously appears and disappears. The last blast comes his way and he half-heartedly slaps it away. Cell aims his hand to try and blast Vegeta. He shoots the ki blast so quickly that Vegeta can't react. Even with his amplifications, it will destroy him. However, the blast is knocked away by another. The two slam into one another and detonate but leave Vegeta unaffected. By his side is Goku, totally healed from his weakness. His energy is back and so is his negative ki. He's ready to continue. Making a stance, Cell nods in response, just the man he was hoping to see. The two face each other directly. The true fight is here. Everyone's expectations are high for Goku and they really think he can win. However, Cell goes against this consensus and lands a devastating kick to Goku's chest. It's like he can't even perceive it. It launches him into a nearby mountain and crushes his ribcage. This was power he wasn't expecting. "I thought you'd at least be stronger than Vegeta," Cell says. Goku can barely breathe, his body filled with adrenaline from that grave injury. With what remains of his focus, he slowly condenses negative ki and forms the positive ki he needs. Seeping it into his bleeding chest, it mends his wounds and returns his body to full health. Now back in his healthiest state, he lifts and fires back towards Cell. With that lethal hit comes a massive Zenkai. He rushes forward with much superior speed but is still futile. Cell grabs him by the neck and squeezes. This squeeze shuts all his airways and leaves him lightheaded. No pull or push gets him free of Cell's grasp. "Listen to me, I don't want to waste my time if you're not strong enough. I want your death to be at least entertaining for me, so I'm giving you 10 days. Train, do whatever you think you can to win. Once you're back, we will conduct the Cell games," Cell says. Throwing down the gridded arena just like in his domain, he releases Goku and steps back. "I'm waiting." Goku drops nearly knocked out. He holds his bruised neck and wheezes in pain. The Z fighters rush to his side but he insists that he's okay. With a little bit of positive ki, the bruising fades. They've heard Cell. Nobody in their ranks can stop Cell now. They have to come together and strategize. Vegeta on the other hand is guided by nothing but rage. This calculation, this strategy is not something he can be a part of anymore. Not that he would even if he was alive. He mindlessly charges at Cell in his arena, but Cell creates a large blade of negative ki. Stabbing it straight through his chest, he almost plants Vegeta in the arena. With that negative ki, it burns through Vegeta's body and he disintegrates. Now made of negative ki, that's the same energy that takes him cleanly out. The negative ki floods through his body and reduces his body to ash. He's effectively exorcised Vegeta and definitively killed him this time. This gives Goku even more fuel for when he enters the time chamber. He gets right to his training and enters with his son, Gohan. Gohan has potential and will be a good warrior to fight alongside him. However, when looked at objectively, Goku will be the man to do it. Gohan is growing and eventually outgrows every other Saiyan besides his father, but with negative ki, the gap between him and his father is even larger than him and everyone else. Gohan achieves Super Saiyan in the chamber and Goku reaches all the way to Super Saiyan 2. This isn't his main focus though. Just like with the ascended forms, he doesn't think it's enough. Instead, he's looking to combine Super Saiyan and Ape Instinct, two great forms that would work amazing together. If he's able to pull off his domain while using Super Saiyan, it will give him an insane leg up. Once Goku gets out the time chamber, he spends the rest of the 9 days just resting and rejuvenating himself. Eventually, the time does come for him to face Cell. Everybody comes to watch, all the Z fighters, along with the sneaky humans that broadcast the fight. Goku stands before Cell, still and firm. Cell looks down on him with his signature arrogant smile. Goku makes his stance and ends his Super Saiyan. Cell stands simply preparing for what Goku has in store for him. The fight is on and Goku starts off by zipping towards Cell. Goku arrives inside his range and makes the latter smirk. He thought he'd be a little more skillful after all this training he assumed he went through. Cell throws a sluggish kick but it goes through an after image. Goku's thought this through. Now by Cell's side, he concentrates as much negative ki into his fist as he can. It gives it its usual buzz and he lands a strong punch to Cell's forearm. The amount that Goku's grown in 10 days to Cell is immense. Before he went in, the cursed spirit Vegeta could have easily overpowered him. Now, that clearly isn't true. The fist releases a shockwave and slides Cell across his arena. The bio-android shakes his arm off and chuckles while walking toward Goku. Goku speeds forward again and starts this time with a quick 1-2 combination. Cell has no problem evading these direct attacks and just steps past his jab and cross. After stepping to the left, evading his cross, he lands a powerful whipping kick to his gut, a crushing impact. It nearly drops Goku to his knees, but he reacts quickly and practically chucks himself up. Cell delivers an upwards blast in his ascent. Goku puts his arms in an X shape in reaction, fortifying them both with a sheen of negative ki. The blast slams onto his arms, but the impact is softened by his armor of ki. This hit forces him further up while forming a cloud of smoke. Through this cloud is a flying Cell that zooms up and grabs one of Goku's arms. Violently spinning, he dives down and throws Goku. This adds to the painful impact. It cracks and breaks apart the arena and Goku feels strong pain stemming from his right arm. This won't be an easy fight. Cell sees Goku's face turned and sees this as an opportunity. With him still descending, he cocks back his fist and intends to throw the strongest cross he can. However, Goku's senses go beyond just vision. Not only that, but his fighting IQ means he basically knows what Cell is going to do straight away. With Goku on his hands and knees, he waits for Cell to get close to him. Before he gets within punching range, Goku springs up and jumps. Flipping back, he extends his right leg and lands a perfectly timed backflip kick to Cell's head. He uses Cell's impetus against him. This makes his hit into the arena even worse. Goku's intellect and strategy keeps him in the fight. Cell isn't stupid by any means, but he doesn't believe that he needs to use his intellect. This lets Goku capitalize on that. However, the bio-android relies on his greater strength and physical ability. Not only that, but he's taller and has much greater range. Cell attempts to speed blitz Goku with a direct and explosive sprint forward. He swings in a cross only to see him pass through an after image. How annoying. Growing irritated from this style of battle, he continues charging forward even while unaware of Goku's location. Much to his luck, Goku's simply behind the after image. Goku's right hand is aimed forward. He intended to blast Cell. That option's off the table now. Cell grabs Goku by his neck, trapping him. Goku immediately works on freeing himself since this removes so many options. Alarm and fright grow within the spectators. They're aware of Cell's strength but also his apathy. Cell squeezes with a devilish smile on his face. His airway slowly shut, leaving him without much time to escape. The bio-android simply walks forward, dragging Goku along the arena. Is this all you can do? Cell asks. If Goku doesn't change his strategy, the fight ends here. He got unlucky with his technique just then, but this leaves him without many other options. The thing he couldn't achieve, the combination of Super Saiyan and Ape Instinct. The rage that he fuels his negative ki with, he hones it. He no longer uses it with control and focus, he lets it go haywire. To him now, rage is power. In the face of this evil, powerful being, nothing is off the table with him. What comes next, he'll have to deal with. That's his future self's problem. Goku's body starts to steam. The amount of negative ki rushing through him is too intense. Krillin from the sidelines can see this and grows concerned. He's getting out of control, and he knows what will come from this. The beastly instincts of a Saiyan manifested in a humanoid form, Ape Instinct and Super Saiyan. He explodes with this new power and elegantly lands back on his feet. Cell cowers away, feeling a sizzling on his skin. Goku bangs his chest like an ape, his mind haywire from the negative ki. He lets out a primal, intense roar at his adversary while reaching out his arms. The ground trembles at this bellow and the spectators shiver. Their hairs stand on end and they lay totally frozen, even they're afflicted with fear. Goku leaps at Cell and cracks the arena due to its intense force. Instead of a proper punch, he lands what resembles a slap. A loud, strong smack with his hand, then he lifts both arms and swings them down like an ape would. The second hit launches Cell off his feet and shoulder first into the arena. The slam is so heavy, the Sea Fighters retreat and just give Goku space. Not only that, but it seems like Goku doesn't know friend from foe. He's fighting like he's never trained a day in his life. His mind submerged in a raging storm of bloodlust and rage. Goku then opens his mouth and unleashes a massive red ball of ki. It strikes Cell and destroys the entire arena. Not only that, but it causes rubble to fall down mountainsides facing this battlefield. As the smoke thins and spreads, a weakened, heavily injured Cell is revealed. His entire left side has almost been taken off. Any ordinary human would be dead from a hit like this. However, Cell's healing factor is impressive. Not only that, but he's a manifestation of negative ki, granting him much more bodily manipulation than normal. He returns to his fully healthy state, but gets hit by yet another mouth blast. This time it's imbued with negative ki. The blast strikes him cleanly in his chest and leaves him in a much worse state than the previous blast. This was made of negative ki, meaning that it brings him closer to death. This is what's needed to kill him, to exorcise him. He lands a ruthless, relentless sequence of primal arm swings, punches and kicks. Cell can't even perceive these incoming hits, all he sees is this intense golden blur. After this crippling series of hits, Cell is left on his last legs. He's holding on by a thread. His body can heal, but he hasn't got the time to do so. He can already see Goku creating another mouth blast. Fueled by adrenaline from the fear of his possible death, Cell rushes to healing himself. He tries his very hardest, but the sliver of time he's granted isn't enough. The blast zips toward him and reduces what remains of Cell to ash, even down to the cells that made up his body he is destroyed. This leaves Cell in an irreversible state. He has been exorcised. Dr. Gero's greatest creation is defeated and leaves his attempt at failure a total utter failure. However, there's another problem on the fighter's hands: Goku himself. Even after defeating Cell, he slams his chest wildly and vehemently roars up to the sky. As he screams as he grows angrier, it only makes him stronger, an addictive, terribly dangerous drug. Krillin sees no other option. He chooses to fly right down there to stand before Goku. He puts his arms out and crouches, attempting to placate him. His attempt is initially useless as Goku slams his chest with both arms, then bullets forward. Krillin shuts his eyes, preparing for whatever comes. In his eyes, at least, it's only him and not the possible millions of lives Goku could take. The intense agony he expects to come never arrives. He remains frozen for a brief moment, but opens his eyes to see Goku still in his ape instinct state but frozen. His body is emitting with steam. It looks like the pain from the form has brought his mind back to the surface. He reverts back to his base form and passes out from overexertion. So overcome with adrenaline and relief, Krillin just falls onto his back and laughs to himself. That could have gone a lot worse. Goku recovers after a day or so and future Trunks returns to his timeline. What follows is a lengthy 7-year time skip between the Cell Saga and Buu Saga. Goku acts as the ultimate esteemed protector of Earth. With him so strong, it gives Gohan even less reason to continue training. It's not something he really likes to do anyway, and so he goes down an educational route to live a more human life. Goku carries on training on his own, and Vegeta remains motivated with Goku's presence. During this time, Goten is born and he has even more potential than his older brother, Gohan. As Goku masters his negative ki manipulation, he finds another technique that might just make him unstoppable. That technique he dubs the Black Flash. He's always concentrated negative ki into his limbs to land attacks. It's part of his fighting style. However, when he concentrates the energy enough, it vastly increases his overall punching power. Goku struggles to picture just how much stronger the punch is. When he tried it the first time, he destroyed literally everything in the path of his fist. The mountain he was facing and the faraway planet in the punch's trajectory. However, it comes at a great cost. Even when he punched the air, the massive power flowing through his arm snapped it like a twig. Thinking further, Goku wonders if he could reinforce his arm with positive ki to make it handle the damage. Of course, this is well beyond his current abilities. Using negative ki and positive ki in such proximity seems impossible based on where he's at the moment. However, he doesn't know that for sure and so keeps working toward it. The World Tournament comes around and Gohan actually chooses to fight. Even whilst he's cut down training, he's still patrolled as the Great Saiyaman. That's given him at least some sort of training and fighting practice during this time. He strugglingly enters Super Saiyan 2 and then a duo of Majin warriors assail him. They take his ki and rush off. The Z fighters chase right after them to see just what they're up to. The Kais, clearly aware of what's to come, tag along. They all huddle around what seems like a spaceship embedded into the earth. As they continue looking at it, Dabura blasts out and sprints toward Kibito. An attempted use of the art of surprise, he aims his right hand ahead and tries to fire a blast. However, a thin dark beam of dark blue energy cuts through it and disintegrates it before it can detonate. To his left is Goku with his own left arm extended. Next, Goku concentrates negative ki into his right arm, but not a deadly black flash amount. Just what he needs. Grabbing the back of his shirt, he tugs and launches Dabura down toward the ship where he came out from. The Demon King merely smiles in response, then resorts to his signature technique, his spit. He shoots out spit at Piccolo and Krillin, turning them both to stone. Seeing this, Goku makes sure not to get hit by that stuff. Instead of continuing the fight though, Dabura flees and enters the ship. Subsequently, the entire crew follow and enter. Babidi starts talking to them all telepathically and prepares a roster of fighters for them to face. The first in this series of Margin Warriors is Pui Pui. Hailing from a planet with 10 times the gravity seen on Earth, he's extremely confident. His confident aura washes away upon seeing how unbothered Vegeta is. Training in gravity chambers that go up to 100 times gravity, and even hailing from a planet with similar gravity levels, this feels like nothing. A single simple attack takes out his foe. Next, Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan gives Yakon more energy than he can sustain and absorb. He blows up from attempting to do so. This leaves the final fight, Gohan against Dabura. It's a good fight and they seem like total equals. However, Gohan has a trick up his sleeve, something he hasn't had to use at all, the Spirit Bomb. After he died on Namek, he was sent to King Kai to learn his techniques. Since he's pure of heart, he kept his body and allowed him to do that. This power is what will let him win, to siphon the natural energy of the planet into himself. He does just that and a white crackling energy swells over his lifted arm. He shoots it up and a blue ball of energy appears above him. After forming this ball, he speeds toward Dabura. The Demon King acts defensively and shoots out spit to try and keep him away. Gohan is swift and leaps over the main wave of spit. He flips elegantly in the air and then drives down this new blue ball of ki. Seeing this fight going nowhere, Babidi switches his strategy and goes for Vegeta. Within him is an anger and evil that he can latch onto and abuse. Use it as an anchor to turn him into a Majin warrior loyal to himself. Babidi does just that and Vegeta drops to his knees in agony. Everyone alarmed, they watch intently to see just what is happening. Vegeta lifts and transforms into Super Saiyan before landing. Babidi has succeeded. Majin Vegeta is born. Upon achieving this new transformation, he glares at Goku, his new main target. Babidi transports the crew to the World Tournament arena. Now this isn't just a fight against Vegeta, they have to protect the innocent civilians in the vicinity. Wait Vegeta, don't do something you'll regret, Goku insists. Regret? I won't regret a thing. I'm back to the man I once was. Everything I gained here only kept me away from my true self, kept me in shackles, made me weak, Vegeta shouts back. He's clearly unwilling to cooperate. Goku sees that what he wants least is most likely, a direct confrontation. Vegeta aims a blast at the crowd behind Goku. He fires but Goku is swift and slices it in two. It detonates right in front of him but deals only moderate damage. He is in his base form so expected that. After, both Goku and Vegeta are transported away to begin their fight. They both face each other, a slight breeze brushing over them. Their clothes bellow and their hair flows. Vegeta doesn't begin in Super Saiyan but instead in Super Saiyan 2 in even higher state. Goku thinks of approaches to this fight. Does he just shut this down with his domain? No, he can't use his domain because it causes fear and regret, two emotions that will make Vegeta even more inclined to exact revenge in the future. It will only intensify his hatred and bitterness. Does he just win the fight? What does that achieve? It shows Vegeta the gap between them, but Goku just doesn't like that second option. It just feels wrong. He'll just have to get his point across. Entering his own Super Saiyan form, he combines it with Ape Instinct while still maintaining mental control, his strongest form providing a massive boost. He zooms down toward Vegeta and lands a quick but strong punch to his chest. Shooting through a number of rocks, Vegeta eventually crashes to the ground. Injured and stunned, Goku capitalizes on this and dives down. Vegeta just about manages to turn and this is when he sees the diving silhouette of Goku blocking out the sun. He knees the prince in his face and nearly knocks him cleanly out. Vegeta, you have to stop this. I've got powers you don't and that's just how it is. That doesn't take away anything from you as a fighter, Goku insists. Vegeta doesn't want to hear this pity talk. He springs back up and charges at Goku. He throws a cross and it puts all his weight behind it only for it to totally miss. Goku swivels around it and then lands one of his own. Only his own shoots Vegeta into a boulder. Slamming into it, it shatters and leaves Vegeta to drop to his knees. Leaving a golden trail in his wake, Goku grabs the fallen Vegeta by the neck of his shirt and lifts. Spinning and pulling him overhead, he drives him down into a slam. Vegeta coughs out blood and groans after that heavy strike. Goku simply walks over to face him directly. We have bigger things to deal with. I'm not entertaining this anymore, Goku says, before blasting off. Vegeta lifts to try and chase after Goku, but falls right back down still weak and in pain. He simply leaves the injured Vegeta there to think over what he said and to accept the reality he's shown him. Goku soon sees Majin Buu charging at Gohan. He lands across and launches Buu back. Leaping into the air, he opens his hands and creates a ki blast from each of his fingers. They each drop off his fingers and grow in their descent. Even these relatively small blasts release massive and powerful explosions. It leaves the battlefield in this thick cloud of smoke and lifted dust. Shin and Kibito watch Goku with such surprise. The ki he utilizes, it isn't ki or god ki, it's something totally different that they've never seen before. Through the smoke, Buu has been reduced to small pink particles. Even in this fragmented state, the parts meant together to return Buu back to full health. How did he? Goku blurts out, astounded by Buu's regenerative abilities. Goku lands before Buu and then slams his hands together. After doing so, he enters his ape instinct form and utilizes his domain. The fear immediately floods Buu's mind, just as he hoped. Goku powers up into Super Saiyan while in this form to make his domain even more powerful. As he transforms, it makes sure he can weaken even stronger fighters. This fear works wonders on Buu's childish mind. He can't even move at all. It's not like he wants to either, he's just left there frozen. This lets Goku do pretty much whatever he wants. Now, if he wants to take this being out, he's going to have to use a hit strong enough to take him out for good. Goku concentrates his negative ki into his fist and starts to feel it seriously scorching his flesh. However, he knows he can heal after. It almost takes away the pain a little. Speeding through his dark domain, he arrives before Majin Buu and lands his black flash. It hurts when he feels his bones crack on impact, but he follows the hit through and makes Buu poof like a balloon. The power in just his fist is enough to reduce Buu to dust. It also flattens the surrounding area and leaves Goku on his knees. He swiftly creates positive ki to heal himself, then lifts. Goku has easily defeated Buu and brought this planet back to peace. The Kais could not be more thankful for Goku's heroism. He kept Kibito alive and has now saved the galaxy from the evil Majin Buu. Babidi is swiftly dealt with and frees Vegeta from his control. After being mentally freed, it brings back his sanity and clear head. That hatred and lust for revenge dies down. Of course, he's a Saiyan and wishes to be number one. However, Goku is right. It's not like their comparison is a fair one. He can heal himself when training right away and has several techniques Vegeta can simply never attain. He's the strongest true Saiyan in his eyes. This brings Dragon Ball Z to a peaceful, calm end. What follows is Beerus' wake and arrival. He's in search of the Super Saiyan God and soon finds himself at Bulma's birthday party. Beerus' hostility and ultimatums to destroy the planet don't sit well with the party's members. They turn to confronting him, but that proves futile. Just as Vegeta expected, Beerus is on a totally different level. They aren't aware of this form right now that he talks about, the Super Saiyan God form, but search for answers through Shenron. He gives them just the information they need, and they soon perform the God ritual on Goku. Goku ascends into the sky and enters his Super Saiyan God form, now slimmer and vastly more powerful. Even after having negative ki, it surprises him to find a third type of ki available to use. He elegantly lifts into flight and Beerus meets him in the skies. Both warriors charge at one another, beginning their fight. Their forearms harshly clash with a loud slapping-like sound. Goku drives up an uppercut, but Beerus falls back and evades. After doing so, he swings in a kick only for it to miss the mark as well. Beerus is not only fast but extremely skilled. He only moves a small amount to dodge each incoming attack. He only moves as much as he needs to. Goku eventually closes the range and capitalizes on this. He won't get an opportunity like this so easily. He swings in 2 quick punches, but Beerus impetuously slaps away both. He then throws his very first attack, a simple light punch to the forehead. Even if the punch is so light from his end, it throws Goku back and disorients him. The gap between them really is massive. Now he's just unlocked his Super Saiyan God form, so he isn't sure about its compatibility with negative ki. It took him ages to combine negative ki with Super Saiyan, so this might be so much harder. However, the form isn't draining like Super Saiyan Grade 1 is. It feels calm, tranquil and invigorating. A calm but invigorating energy. This might work well with negative ki. Harnessing a focused anger, a negative ki aura engulfs him. Works like a charm. This grants him an immediate boost of several times and gives him his usual aura of dark blue ki. He zooms toward Beerus now much faster. He lands a snapping punch to his face simply due to his enhancement in speed. Beerus wasn't expecting him to move so much faster after just a simple power-up. Goku takes advantage of this and throws a jab, followed by a cross to Beerus' chest. Both impacts are heavy and the second hit knocks Beerus back an inch or so. Aiming his right foot forward for a front kick, Beerus lifts up and evades rather easily. He elegantly flips over Goku before arriving behind him. With his legs still extending, he palm slams his back and launches him like a cannonball shot from a cannon. Goku sent flipping and flailing forward and a large bruise is left on his back. All of this from a practically effortless move from Beerus. He feels he can use positive ki rather easily and floods his back with the energy. It's weird, the 2 forms of ki work in tandem quite well, like 2 calm fluids that can easily flow around each other. As the fight continues, Goku struggles to make progress. Beerus is not only physically superior but superior in technical prowess as well. There just aren't many options for him to use. Just like with Buu, he sees only one option. He's worked on his Black Flash even more to use it in tandem with positive ki to minimize the damage caused. Since the Black Flash works exponentially, the stronger he gets, the more damage the technique causes, so even with this positive ki to minimize that damage, he can only use it twice before he breaks his arm. Even if that is the case, that is more than enough to use it in this situation. The main struggle here is managing to land that hit. He's going to have to trick Beerus into taking his punches somehow. If that works, he can strike. Goku charges at Beerus with a flurry of punches. He keeps them light and quick. Beerus keeps dodging them at first, but soon stops after seeing how futile that is. Goku continues rattling punches onto his torso to no avail. Every hit he doesn't even move Beerus an inch. He lands a jab, then cocks back his right arm as far as he can. His chance. Negative ki floods into his right fist, reaching extremely high concentrations. The dark blue aura turns almost into this black smoke-like aura. The black flashes here. Within this dark aura are these streams of golden positive ki that flow up his veins and tendons. As they do so, the streams divide and branch out like branches from the trunk of a tree, invigorating and healing the cells they pass by. The stronger he gets, the greater the increase in strength, an exponential curve to the power of 2.5. Within this Super Saiyan God form, it basically means he has the punch of an angel. He lands the punch with a shout and shatters a half of Beerus' ribcage. Not only that, but the force also dissipates through his shoulder, snapping his collarbone and right shoulder blade. Beerus is launched more than 300 meters away and Goku holds his arm in pain. Even with the positive ki, there's been many micro tears and things within his muscles and micro fractures as well. It will take at least half a minute or so before he's fully healed from this complex damage. Additionally, it's going to take a lot of energy for him to heal. Beerus is out the fight, there's no doubt about it. Whis has to rush to his aid immediately to heal him. Whis can't believe that Goku's been able to hurt Beerus like this. It seemed like he was unable to touch him, but out of nowhere, he's landed a single shot and taken Beerus out the fight completely. Beerus groans and shouts in pain as he's healed. The hit was as painful as it was damaging. After being healed, both gods are very impressed and concerned with Goku's abilities. Never in their long lives have they seen something like this. The ability to hurt someone so much stronger than himself. Instead of Goku going to Whis to ask to train with him, Whis asks Goku to come along with him. If news of this gets out, it could be quite alarming. Gods of destruction must erase threats to the balance of the universe. Goku could easily be seen as an agent of imbalance and potential chaos. They're lucky he seems like a kind, nice person though. Vegeta isn't going to let Goku go off on his own though, he offers to come along with him. Beerus sees nothing wrong with that, so basically straight away the two Saiyans are off to train with Whis at Beerus' planet. During this training, Whis pretty much concludes Goku is no threat. He only wants to fight strong people and that's it. He doesn't intend to use his powers for nefarious purposes. Therefore, Whis can focus on training the two. Goku swiftly unlocks Super Saiyan Blue along with Vegeta. The form is much stronger than Super Saiyan God, but Goku finds he can't use negative ki with it. Since the form is so draining, it can be dangerous for him to abuse his negative ki. With training, he hopes he can get there soon. His Black Flash advances, but it makes it even more damaging. To manage this, he improves his positive ki manipulation. As they train, Frieza is revived and makes his way to Earth. Goten, Trunks and Gohan act as the primary forces against him. Piccolo is also another strong warrior that still trains all the time and uses his experience to take out many Frieza soldiers. Not only that, but he fights Frieza's new right-hand men, Tagoma and Shisami. Gohan attempts to turn Super Saiyan but passes out after trying to do so. His stamina has faded after slacking on training for so long. Frieza shoots out a laser beam toward him, but Goku appears and slaps it away. The main fighters are here now. Students to the gods themselves, Goku and Prince Vegeta. They're going to take it in turns. Goku starts off, then Vegeta will step in to finish things off. There's no fear in either of their hearts. They know for sure that they can win. Goku and Frieza begin their fight. Frieza starts off in his final form, while Goku begins in his base. For Goku, he feels that's all he'll need. His positive ki has accelerated his training a great deal, even for Vegeta too. Once they finish training, it takes at most half a day for them to get back up to speed. He speeds towards Frieza and lands a clean punch that launches him into a rock side by the adjacent waters. Goku pulls back his hand, creates a ball of negative ki, and shoots it at his adversary. The ball whizzes through the air and with haste, aims straight at Frieza. Before the ball can hit him though, Frieza throws himself out the way. Chucking himself toward the nearby water, he turns just to see how destructive that blast is. It crashes into the dark rock and releases a massive spherical explosion that would not have been good to land on Frieza. Immediately after seeing this, Goku grabs him by the neck and launches him into that same rock side. Not only does Frieza hit the rock, but he's also driven straight through it like a drill. He eventually flies out the earth only for Goku to punch him straight back down. With Goku's proficiency with negative ki, there's little Frieza can do. He's too fast and intelligent with his attacks. Frieza tries to take a step forward to attack Goku. Upon doing so, he drops to a knee, overcome with pain from his injury. Just stop, there's no use in fighting, Goku says. Right after doing so though, Frieza erupts with this violent aura of golden energy, a new form of his, Golden Frieza. The ground rumbles as he shouts and charges his ki. The clouds above collect and darken from the disturbance in the atmosphere. Golden Frieza is revealed to the Saiyans for the first time. He utterly speed blitzes Goku and lands a crushing punch to his chest. This punch launches him into the water and Frieza darts after him, eager to hurt him more. Frieza slips into the water and kicks Goku toward the seabed. Both attacks hurt badly and leave Goku nearly knocked out. Being so far underwater isn't helping either. The only thing Goku can think of is blinding Frieza. Solar Flare, he shouts and blinds him. While he's blinded, Goku speeds out the water to heal himself and take a breather. He lands back on the land nearby and Frieza charges at him. As he approaches Goku, he sees this new red aura engulf him. Goku enters his Super Saiyan God form and catches Frieza's next punch. It lands snugly into his palm and stops Frieza completely. Frieza tries to throw another punch only for it to be caught as well. Goku pulls both of his arms back then headbutts Frieza. Before he flies back, he grabs him by his head then drives his head into the dirt. He throws Frieza up then punts him into the clouds. Goku wants to chase after him but Vegeta steps in. There clearly isn't much left in this fight. Frieza trained hard but they train much harder. The gap between them is vast. Now to combat Goku's negative ki, Vegeta went in search of his own techniques. This led him to ask Beerus shortly after meeting him for his guidance and training. Beerus at first is very reluctant but he soon opens up to it. In his eyes he wants to prove that Hakai is superior to whatever Whis will teach Goku. Frieza just about comes to a stop but then Vegeta appears in front of him in Super Saiyan Blue. He grabs Frieza then swings him back down to ground. He wants to make sure everyone sees this. Vegeta lands then slowly walks toward a cowering Frieza. Frieza pleads and gives Vegeta the offer to be his right-hand man, his own personal planets to rule over, power beyond his wildest dreams. Okay, so why wouldn't I just kill you and take that power for myself? Vegeta asks. This brings Frieza to silence. The reality sets in. You took away my people, you lied about their demise for almost my entire life. I must take your life for payment for what you did. Vegeta aims his hand and a crackling aura of golden energy encapsulates it. A thin but fast beam of energy hits Frieza like a truck and goes straight through him like butter. It leaves a rather gruesome injury, one that even the durable Frieza can't survive. The fight is ended and Vegeta has taken the win over his oppressor, just as he'd hoped. What follows is the Tournament of Destroyers. Both gods of destruction are eager to prove their universe is better. They're going to prove it through a tournament with their strongest warriors going head to head. Piccolo begins the tournament and finds himself against Frost. Vegeta is the one to step in after. Judging from the caliber of fighter they've seen, Vegeta feels like Goku could just finish the tournament. If he does, he won't start himself, so he fights first. He begins and shows off a beautiful change to his fighting style. To try and keep up with Goku, he formed a new variant to the Final Flash, a technique that he calls the Mini Flash. Now it's a much lighter and faster attack that deals some damage, but it's not its main function. It acts more as extra limbs for him. As long as there are surfaces in the vicinity, he uses the blast to change direction very quickly. It allows him to fight in a more omnidirectional way, to attack his opponents from awkward angles and try and catch them off guard. To begin the fight, Vegeta throws back his arms and launches two mini flashes. These blasts shoot him up and he aims a blast up at the barrier around him. This hemispherical barrier around the arena gives Vegeta so many platforms to blast from. He can fight omnidirectionally now. Vegeta does just this and aims a thin beam of ki toward the barrier and bullets down. He lands a strong punch empowered by the impetus from his descent. However, Frost just about evades the incoming punch. It wasn't exactly slow but heavily telegraphed. He saw it coming from a mile away. Vegeta doesn't stop there though and grabs a loose rock from the cracked arena. Zipping forward, he finger flicks this small rock and converts it to pure energy while doing so. This small mass results in masses of energy, an explosion. Frost is pushed toward the arena's edge, leaving him vulnerable. Just as he tries to move, Vegeta comes blasting through the smoke screen. Speed blitzing Frost in his base form, he lands a punch to throw him off the arena and ultimately eliminate him. Vegeta defeats Frost and moves on to Vegeta. It's a tougher fight, but Vegeta eventually gets the upper hand on the durable warrior. He becomes much more interested in the next fighter though, Cabba, a Saiyan of Universe 6. He knows such immediately from his ancient Saiyan armor. They begin the fight with Vegeta having the upper hand. He's better at fighting and is much stronger. However, Vegeta doesn't want to just fight and win. He sees potential in Cabba. For him to be as strong as he is phenomenal. Therefore, he gets him to dig deep, to grow angry and desperate for victory. It works like a charm and Cabba achieves his Super Saiyan form. Now this puts him much closer to Vegeta in terms of raw strength, but it's not enough to bridge the gap. Vegeta eliminates Cabba but still gives him his flowers. He's done wonderfully to reach this point. He helps Cabba up and nods to him. "You did well," he states, pleasing Cabba greatly. What follows is the main fight of the tournament. The strongest warrior of Universe 6 steps up to the plate, their deadliest assassin. Vegeta tries to start off in his base, but finds he can't even hit the man, he's too slick and swift. Therefore he ups the stakes and enters Super Saiyan God. Speeding back toward hit, he almost hits him with a right cross, however out of nowhere he teleports to arrive beside Vegeta and kick him across the arena. Barreling toward the arena's edge, he uses a mini flash to slow to a stop. Luckily he halts at the very edge of the ring. Hit charges after seeing this clear chance to win. In just 2 steps he arrives right beside Vegeta. Vegeta uses this tiny fraction of a second to blast up and evade Hit's stomp. He misses Vegeta by a hair and looks quite annoyed at that. How did he wriggle out of that one? Vegeta sprints at Hit, then attempts to attack from an awkward angle. He uses a blast from his mini flash attack to arrive at Hit's left side. Now he's here, he swings in a kick. Before he can land any hit, however, Hit punches him across the whole arena. He's using some form of teleportation to dodge all his hits. After missing this hit, white sparkles of energy lift through Vegeta's fiery aura. Then the aura switches to cool blue and he ascends into his strongest form. Now this should work. He closes the gap between them quickly and Hit is still in the cooldown for his time skip. This leaves him a sitting duck. Vegeta aims low and lands a right cross to the body, followed by an uppercut with his left. Hit's head is thrusted up and this takes his eyes off his opponent. Now that he's looking up, Vegeta kicks him in the side, sliding him across the arena. The assassin won't take those attacks willingly, he fights back. He sprints at Vegeta and aims an elbow once he gets in range. It totally misses the mark. Getting so close is not safe, but Hit knows that. He's an adept fighter and he elegantly sidesteps to fall out of range. Even after doing so, Vegeta closes the distance in an explosive dash. After doing so, he lets out a flurry of explosive punches to his body. After landing the final punch, Hit coughs out blood and cowers to the ring's edge. Vegeta waits for his time skip, but it doesn't come. It seems like the damage caused is working, it's hindering him. This is Vegeta's shot. He powers up as much as he can, charging up all the ki he can. Cocking back both hands, a crackling aura of golden energy encapsulates his hands. A beautiful golden gleam of energy appears. Slamming both hands together, he unleashes his final flash at full power. Striking Hit head on, he's thrown off the ring and slammed into the ring's edge. This ends the fight and the tournament as a whole. Universe 7 triumph in an outstanding performance, only having to use 2 of their warriors, not even their strongest one. After the Universe 6 saga is done, Goku continues working on his negative ki. Through trial and error, he finds another aspect of his powers, a very interesting, extremely powerful technique to add to his arsenal. It lets him manipulate reality basically, but you must follow conditions. If they're not met, there are grave repercussions. Goku's first banning vow comes in the form of advancing his ape instinct form. He forms the concept and it's a risky transformation, however the power growth is enormous. It's akin to the Black Flash in many ways. Extremely powerful but gravely harmful to the user. The negative ki forms a special technique that harnesses the energy within matter itself, converting this mass into pure negative ki. This energy source is then used to fuel his ape instinct form and ascend it into a higher state. The fur on him turns a pure white colour like a yeti. His skin becomes slightly paler and he grows taller. The main alteration of course is the power boost. It's extremely large. The only issue though is the banning vow. To power the transformation, he's only allowed to use matter from his own body. The longer he uses the form, the more damage it causes. Using it long enough will cause irreparable damage. Not only that, but he feels great pain as it works. The pain's a very strong anger source that could lead him to go out of control. If he uses the form for even just a few minutes, the possibility of losing control turns into an inevitability. Next, Future Trunks arrives at Capsule Corp. Goku and Vegeta travel from Beerus planet shortly after to see what's happening. Once they arrive, he explains the reason for his arrival, Vegeta Black. After Vegeta's performance in the Tournament of Destroyers, Zamasu watched closely and wanted to use his physical prowess to his advantage to enact his mission, the Zero Morsels Project. With that power he now has, he's caused havoc and calamity across his whole timeline. The gods, due to their link's lives, have all perished. He comes here in the hopes that they can do something. Okay, they'll both head there to see what's happening. Goku and Vegeta come along with him to face this Vegeta Black. Goku's just interested in fighting a strong foe, but Vegeta is infuriated. For someone to take the body of a Saiyan, it feels like a crime. Nobody can be a Saiyan just by taking the body. If one hasn't the soul and mental vigor of a Saiyan, they can never be one. Never. Therefore he faces him first. Vegeta lifts into the air to face him directly. He senses his ki and finds he's quite weak. For someone using his body, he'd expect him to be a lot stronger. Soon the fight is underway and both fighters charge at one another. Vegeta continues forward but sends his foe Saiyan counterpart hurtling into a tower below them. He darts after him, grabbing him from the rubble, then chucking him through an adjacent building. Just as he eventually comes to a stop, Vegeta dives forward with both knees and drives him through another building. You thought you could take a Saiyan's body and become one? I hope this gives you the epiphany to see the truth. Vegeta keeps beating him around with ease. He still hasn't gotten used to his own body yet. Not only that, but Vegeta has been training while Vegeta Black has just been ruling over the world basically. Vegeta Black, fallen at the top of an abandoned tower, coughs out blood and holds his side while crawling away. Vegeta walks toward him with a steady, unchanging pace. Black puts more effort into his retreat and Vegeta smiles in his slow, steady advance. With this chance to end things, he swings down a punch. However, before it can hit the target, Black grabs the hit and stops it. Vegeta's head jerks back a little surprised. Is this the same person he's been fighting this whole time? Not only has he been unable to evade his attacks, he's been unable to perceive them. It's like he's just hitting a punching bag. There's nothing Black could do to resist. Now he's just stopped his punch and barely reacted as well. Now that Zamasu's growing a closer connection to the body he now inhabits, he's getting stronger. Vegeta throws another punch, which is also caught. Vegeta Black slowly lifts after holding both wrists and pulls. He lands a strong headbutt followed by an uppercut. To create some range, he sidekicks Vegeta straight off the tower. Vegeta holds his chest, wheezing from the pain of that kick. He's gotten stronger. With Vegeta a good distance away, Black starts to power up. This power up ascends him into his Super Saiyan form for the first time. After this immediate 50 times boost, he utterly speed blitzes Vegeta and leaves a beautiful golden trail of ki in his wake. He lands a crushing punch to the jaw that throws him through a whole building. Through the rubble, Black appears and kicks Vegeta back down into the asphalt. The others watching start to look a little more alarmed. They fly over to try and get better angles. If something happens, Goku will make sure to step in. Vegeta, hurt and bruised, rises and transforms. He lets out his pent-up fury and ascends into Super Saiyan God. The aura of fiery red ki covers him and brings this surprising calm. His visage shifts from uncontrolled rage to focused anger. Black tries to continue with that same confidence and aggression, but he's quickly shut down. He throws a right cross, but Vegeta slides past it without much effort. After gliding past this hit, he lands a cross of his own and launches Black across the whole street. He digs his hands into the ground, trying to slow himself down. He still gracelessly hits into a half-destroyed building at the end of the street. Vegeta slowly lifts off his feet and blasts forward and delivers a strong double drop kick to launch Black airborne. Before Black can even slow to a stop, he gets hit in the back of his head with an elbow and launched back down. Vegeta starts hitting him almost like a ping pong ball, just knocking him around. Black is eventually launched into the sky like a rocket, parting the clouds from his speedy ascent. Vegeta darts after him before arriving above his adversary. Straight after doing so, he turns into Super Saiyan Blue and delivers a devastating double axe handle. This hit knocks Black out and forms this large crater from the intense impact force. Vegeta Black lifts before dusting off the debris. Vegeta stares into his soul upon seeing him raise. Vegeta lands a strong punch to his gut that drops him back to his knees. Vegeta lifts and a blue ki blast appears. Just as this happens, he can see a swirling stream of pink ki flow over Black. He steps back. Vegeta wants him dead, but he's terribly arrogant. It's almost his Achilles heel. Let's see what you have in store, he thinks. There isn't an iota of fear in him. He will let him power up and do whatever he intends to, then beat him all the same, just to rub it in. Black screams and enters his own form of Super Saiyan Blue. Due to his divine mind as Zamasu, he's unlocked the unique form, Super Saiyan Rose. With additional power boosts from healing, he's become deadly. He elbows Vegeta and evades the blast he throws at him. Zipping out its path, he powers on. He lands 3 strong straight punches to his body, followed by a crushing uppercut that launches him airborne. Vegeta is sent flipping and flying through the air with a stream of blood to follow. Just as he controls his ascent, he can already see Black directly facing him from above. He grabs him by his neck and bullets down toward ground. Crashing through a tower, Vegeta coughs out blood while holding his hurt throat. Black doesn't stop there though. He continues throwing punch after punch while his foe's down. He relishes this new power he's gained. Goku can feel Vegeta's ki fading and knows he has to get in there. If he stays in there, he could die. He enters Super Saiyan Blue and zips into the destroyed tower where Vegeta currently is. He grabs Vegeta Black and hurls him away before grabbing Vegeta and escaping. His time window is incredibly narrow, and Black fires a blast at him before he fully escapes. With his foot still in proximity to the incoming blast, he gets hit but still escapes. It simply sent him off trajectory, but he's safe now. He returns to the past with a hurt Vegeta to get stronger and return to defeat Black. Black tries to stop them, but they escape in just the nick of time. Hiding themselves in their signatures allows them to do this. Upon arrival, Vegeta is healed by Goku and has this vengeance to return and defeat Black. For him to have taken his body and reached that level, it grinds his gears. He storms into the chamber, vowing to defeat Black when he exits. Simultaneously, Goku takes another approach. He's going to act as a failsafe. If Vegeta doesn't manage to take out Vegeta Black, he'll simply seal him with the Mafuba technique, a technique he learns directly from Roshi. A day passes and the two Saiyans are ready. While Vegeta trains in the chamber, he unlocks the next step in his transformation, Super Saiyan Blue evolution, a 20 times boost to the Super Saiyan Blue form. Vegeta is filled with a new sense of conviction and resolution after that harsh period of training. He was fueled by nothing but rage and that need for vengeance. The pain to his ego made him do that extra push-up, run that extra mile, throw that extra punch. He believes that after all that, it will all pay off. The two return to the future more prepared than ever. Goku brings along the electric rice cooker, and they both return to the future timeline. Vegeta lifts into flight and immediately powers up into Super Saiyan Blue. Then his aura collapses over his skin until he leaks practically no energy. Along with unlocking evolution, he advanced his mastery over Super Saiyan Blue. Now it feels indifferent to Super Saiyan God in terms of stamina drain, only with a significantly higher power boost. Seconds later, Black appears in front of him. He then enters Super Saiyan Rose. Both warriors glare at each other briefly before beginning the fight. Black creates what looks like a scythe made purely of pink ki. He cocks back, then takes a swing. However, Vegeta backflips and evades that entirely. Once he does, he fires out a mini flash beam. The blast is quick, too quick for Black to evade. He takes the beam with his arm and it leaves a bruise. Vegeta then dives down with a kick to the neck. It lands with perfection and sends Black bulleting down to ground. In his descent though, he fires out a ki blast, nothing a SWAT can't deal with. Vegeta simply slaps it away before diving down himself. He grabs Black while airborne and gracefully lands on a building. After landing, he slams Black through the top floor. Before Black can do anything in retaliation, Vegeta swings a part of the top floor ceiling at him. This plate of concrete hits Black and crushes over him, throwing him back down. Vegeta walks over to a fallen Black without taking his eyes off him. He dips and roughly grabs him before chucking him up. He flies through the broken ceiling and Vegeta puts both hands down to his side. As he does this, he calms and charges his ki as powerfully as he can. Pushing hard for about a second or two, he ascends into Blue evolution. This is just to make sure he's at maximum power. Two thin beams of ki slam and propel him, and he also flies up to add to his speed. It makes him shoot up like a rocket, making him a blur to Black. Swinging up a kick, he lands a technique he'd been working on in the chamber. A strong hit amplified by his flash beams leave Black quite hurt. He's catapulted through the clouds and sent flailing around in the sky. Vegeta is aware of his recovery ability, so he doesn't want to let him rejuvenate. He's going to end things before they reach that point. Zooming up, sped up by flash beams, he spin kicks Black back down to ground. This final kick creates a crater from the impact force. It seems like that might be it. Future Trunks watching is stunned. He can't take his eyes off the dark blue star in the grey sky. The light that has forced and overpowered the darkness. His father has reached totally new levels he didn't think he could reach. It's only been a day and he's like a new person. Vegeta lands in this crater but Black's nowhere to be found. He looks around intently but doesn't pick up on anything. Zamasu has gone off with Black. Instead of trying to fight as a duo, they switch straight to fusion. Black insists that Vegeta is too great a force for him to deal with alone. He could grow stronger during the fight, but he's in a mortal body. Vegeta could easily kill him before he grows strong enough. Zamasu therefore hands him the Potara. The spectators are alerted to their location by a powerful white beam that parts the clouds. Once the light dims, a pure divine being is revealed, half mortal, half divine in body and divine in mind, fused to Zamasu. A halo glows behind his head, illustrating his immortality and godliness. This is going to be a problem. Vegeta is still confident and charges at this new warrior though. However, he's backhanded away before even throwing a single punch. The fight continues in this way, utter domination from Zamasu. Even after that full year of training, Vegeta is unable to succeed. Vegeta, now in his base, stumbles away from an approaching Zamasu. Zamasu creates a blade made from pure ki and aims it toward Vegeta. He cowers away, but Zamasu closes the gap. There's nowhere for him to go. "You fought well, mortal, as well as a mortal could," Zamasu claims, before crouching and holding the blade closer to his neck. Vegeta gives back a strong look of defiance. Even in his death, he won't fall on his back and yield. He will fight to the very end. The rage at his inevitable death fuels him with adrenaline and resolve, exactly what he needs for his final move. Vegeta rolls and soars up into his Super Saiyan Blue evolution form. He grits his teeth from the immediate strain, but it does not stop him. No, he continues on. Goku, who attempted to step in, halts at a distance. What trick does he have left up his sleeve? Vegeta starts shouting at the top of his lungs, searching for every bit of power he can. The ground rumbles from his intense power-up. Zamasu simply watches. He believes nothing can stop him. Intrigued, he wants to see just what Vegeta's up to. Vegeta extends both arms and unleashes his final explosion. A massive ball of explosive fire fires out from his body, encapsulating Zamasu and the vicinity. This ball balloons in size, forcing Trunks and Goku away. Zamasu initially holds his hand up against his face, blocking the intense light. This explosive wave grows more intense and throws him off his feet. Vegeta gives a final power-up charge before almost totally depleting himself of energy. He drops to his knees, then passes out. With such a strong, highly trained physique, the final explosion doesn't result in his death. Goku swoops in and immediately grabs Vegeta. He's out cold, and Zamasu is still awake across the street from them. He's bruised and breathing a little more intensely. Other than that, he seems fine. There isn't much time. Goku needs to get to work now. Handing Vegeta to Trunks and Goasu, Goku steps forward. Now it's his turn. He's confident but also safe with the plan B they have. If this fight doesn't go well for him, he could easily just resort to fusion. Failing that, they have the evil containment wave. Here he tries the form he's been working on. He calls it Ultra Ape Instinct, a heightened state. He activates the banding vow and ascends into the Ape Instinct form to begin with. Then he focuses and pulls upon particles randomly throughout his body. These particles are converted to pure energy and release what resembles sparks. On the atomic level, each explosion of energy isn't that harmful, but when it's added up to larger levels, it starts releasing alarming volumes of energy. The veins on his skin start to give off a golden glow from the energy coursing through them. This golden energy darkens to a colder, darker blue. Negative ki is being formed from these tiny sparks. Soon a massive roaring wave of negative ki flows around Goku. The dark fur bleaches out to a pure white colour and he grows even taller. Now at around 6'3", his muscles enlarge slightly and his fur grows wilder. The form has a much more menacing look to it, and Goku's demeanour makes this worse. He scrunches up his newly formed snout and glares at Zamasu with his red eyes. He extends his arms and roars at him before banging his chest. He forcefully jumps, breaking the ground. He zips towards Zamasu and appears in front of him. Before Zamasu can attack though, he swivels to arrive behind him. Goku turns to a blur in the process, leaving Zamasu totally open. He lands a strong punch, launching Zamasu. He's thrown into a front roll, but he takes the impact relatively well. After shooting back up, Goku goes in for a tackle and pummels him. With Zamasu down, Goku aims for a punch. He wastes no time getting on the job. Each second he stays in this form, he's putting damage onto himself. This form is not to be abused. Therefore, he has to get the job done quickly to minimize damage to himself. His fist fires down, but Zamasu, out of reflex, evades at the last second. Goku strikes the tarmac road and crumbles adjacent buildings. Goku has unprecedented levels of power. Every little movement could hurt someone. However, he's more of a glass cannon. He can feel a throbbing over his knuckles and can see sharp fragments of tarmac dug into his fingers. His strength grew much more than his durability. He could hurt himself just as much as an opponent. Regardless, he doesn't dwell on it too much. The job to be done now is to win. Goku grabs Zamasu by the neck of his shirt and lifts him slightly. With him slightly lifted, he barrels him back down. He chucks him into the air, then aims an arm. Once in the right position, he fires a blast. It travels too quickly. Zamasu can't intercept it. He holds his arms up in an X formation and tanks it. Through this created cloud of smoke, Goku leaps and kicks Zamasu down. As Zamasu falls, Goku dives down more quickly, then lands an uppercut at the end of Zamasu's descent. With Zamasu flying straight into his punch, it only adds to the damage. This damage doesn't affect just Zamasu though. Goku feels a sharp pain run down his bones. He can't take this much longer. The punch hits like a whip though. Goku knocks out several teeth and Zamasu looks nearly defeated. He coughs out blood and snaps his dislocated jaw back into place. This causes even more blood to escape his open mouth. This is where he can win, a clear shot. Goku opens his mouth and condenses his negative ki into the opening. The dark blue ki condenses tightly and chaotically flows around. It continues to swirl around and grow larger until this unstable ball of black ki is formed. Just like with the black flash, he can translate something similar to energy blasts. It intensely shakes in his mouth. He must use a lot of energy to keep his own blast centered. It's like an angry savage dog being kept on a leash, constantly thrashing and tugging away, eager for destruction and violence. Once the time is right, he lets go and fires. Upon firing, Zamasu realizes the direness of the situation. The aura of ki and air that surrounds this blast is very intense. The pressure it emits is terrifying. The fused divine being plants his feet and extends his arms. It's too late to evade. He has to use his strength to absorb the impact. Gritting his teeth, he does just that, and the blast falls into his palms. However, it shreds through his palms like they're sheets of paper and continues barreling toward him. Once it touches his chest, it violently detonates. The black energy that surrounds the blast turns into a bright pure white that even sends Goku flying. Trunks and Gowasu that watch turn away and shield Vegeta from the incoming debris. Gowasu seems concerned even for Goku. We saw him flying before the main blast. He might have taken himself out in his attempt at defeating Zamasu. Trunks flies right after him. He continues flying through the sky, seemingly unconscious. The impact he makes could be possibly fatal. Trunks sees he won't catch up to him in time. He ascends into Super Saiyan 2 and zooms forward as fast as he can. He just about makes it, grabbing the flying Goku and sliding across the ground to soften the impact. His feet dig through the ground and leave a massive trail since they're just travelling so fast. Once he stops, he closely inspects Goku. He's clearly unconscious and quite hot to the touch. Trunks can't discern why that would be the case, but he assumes it must be some form of overexertion. Not only that, but there's just so much internal bleeding. He's bruised pretty much everywhere. He's in a bad state in so many ways. Luckily, Trunks had gone through some training with the Kai of his timeline. Now he must put that training to the test. Placing his hands on Goku's chest, he starts trying to heal him. He closes his eyes and focuses. He starts looking back to the training, trying to replicate what his master showed him. A few seconds later, he starts to feel a glow. That's progress. Immediately after though, the sky turns green. He looks up and sees what looks like infinite Zamasu faces. The body he inhabited was mortal, but his soul was not. His body might have died, but he simply moved on to take another vessel, the universe itself. This is a really big problem. Trunks continues healing, but Zamasu lashes out. He starts taking out the humans that remain. Now that he is space-time itself, the rules just don't really apply to him. He can do as he pleases. His project can finally be completed, just as it should have been a long time ago. Goku gasps as he awakes. He sits up, then leaps up to his feet and looks around hastily. It takes him a few seconds for Trunks to snap him back into things. The last thing he remembers is him letting off a nuclear-sized explosion. Of course, he isn't going to wake up like he's got up from bed in the morning. What is this, he wonders, looking around at the dark green sky above. This is a terrible situation. It's quite ominous. He knows nothing good can come of this. Goku thinks about what he can do, maybe the Black Flash. No, Trunks just said Zamasu said that he's space-time itself. Goku could probably destroy the planet and Zamasu with that hit at full power, but it will take everything with him. He can't even use the Mafuba anymore if Zamasu is literally everywhere all at once. So there's only one thing Goku can think of. Goku goes into his pocket to try and get the button that calls Zeno. His heart drops upon doing so. The button is nowhere to be found. What's wrong? Trunks asks. Before the tower to their left collapses, Goku immediately releases a strong ki wave to keep the rubble back. I lost a button that calls someone that can deal with this. Look for a purple and blue button now. If we don't get that thing, Goku says before looking up. I don't see any of us getting out of this one. Trunks, upon hearing that one, gets right to it. Trunks gets Gowasu on it as well, and they immediately rummage through the surrounding rubble. Goku primarily looks at his trajectory from where he attacked Zamasu initially. It must have flown out his pocket when he was launched. Simply going in the direction of the formed crater, he doesn't find anything. Found it, Trunks shouts, showing the button. Goku signals for him to press it and Zeno is revealed. Once he sees the gravity of the situation, he raises his arms and erases the whole timeline. Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gowasu and Mai are saved and are brought to the present timeline. Now Trunks doesn't have his timeline, but he is returned to a future timeline that is safe and somewhat resembles his own. The only thing is, there'll be another pair of Trunks and Mai in that timeline. It's better than nothing though. They return to their timeline and the Saiyan duo return to their training. Goku is making some solid progress when it comes to Ultra Instinct, but Vegeta is proceeding even faster with her Kai. To him, without this power, he's nothing to Goku. Goku has his own power system that gives him the edge, and Vegeta needs one of his own. Therefore, he practically dedicates his training solely to mastering her Kai. He's gotten very far and can create massive explosions. Alongside using explosions offensively, he can use them similarly to the mini flash to change direction. It just allows him to fight in an omnidirectional way. Goku talks with Zeno and talks of a tournament between all the universes. Zeno agrees and looks forward to the entertainment. This only comes with one slight caveat though. Everyone in the defeated universe will be erased. Everyone. So they weren't expecting that. Oh well, Goku's still confident in himself. If push comes to shove, he can use the Black Flash and basically end the tournament. But then again, they explicitly state that killing is not allowed. If he uses that Black Flash, the collateral damage would be too much. No, he'll have to use the Black Flash in a lower state like basic Super Saiyan. Maybe that could do it. Before the tournament, Goku develops his second binding vow. He dubs it the flow state. It's useful, but it's a bargain. If he lands a hit, he gains a temporary strength boost. If he evades an attack, he gets faster. If he continues to dodge, the increase in speed stockpiles. The same can be said for his increase in strength. There are drawbacks though. If he takes too long to think about what to do next or simply hesitates, it will cause a massive depletion of power. It acts exponentially as well, where the decrease in power gets much larger every passing second. If he lands a good sequence of attacks and fights well, it provides massive power boosts. Additionally, if his chosen opponent is too weak, it has no effect. This stops him abusing it on opponents he finds easy to face. It must be someone relative to his strength or higher. The tournament preliminaries commence, with Goku up against Toppo. Goku makes the first move. Toppo, unconcerned, steps around his first punch. He's quick for his size. Goku tries to close that distance, but Toppo retreats faster than he can advance. Goku leaps up and aims a single finger. Toppo just looks at this attempt at a finger flick with confusion. What could he do with that? Goku concentrates negative ki into his finger until it vibrates. It stings a little, but he steals through the pain. Powerfully flicking, Toppo is thrown back from this ki wave. It sends small tears through his clothes and shallow cuts over his skin as well. Toppo's face is that of pure confusion. You must be wondering how I did that, Goku says, stretching his arms. You're physically stronger than me, I have to admit, but when I concentrate power, it makes that part of my body vastly stronger. The negative ki flows around his arms elegantly and gracefully, invigorating the cells it passes through. Goku then concentrates it into a ki blast and fires it at Toppo. Toppo straightens his face and fixes up his stance. He waits for the blast to approach and swats it away with a single swing. It flies across the arena and into the stands above, where a god of destruction is forced to Hakai it away. Toppo, now cloaked in God Ki, takes off and lands a strong gut punch. He follows up with an elbow, then a stomp. The arena quakes and Goku grunts in pain. However, under Toppo's boot, Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 3. He grabs his boot and slowly lifts it off with a single arm. Toppo resists, but Goku overpowers him. Now at his feet, he throws Toppo away and onto his back. The Pride Trooper swiftly returns to his feet with a backflip, but then eats a jab to the face followed by a right cross. Goku funnels in a left hook to his temple, then lifts his left knee. This isn't intended to attack, but instead to add momentum to his true hit. Flooding negative ki into his right leg, he thrusts it upward and lands a powerful kick to his jaw. The hit launches Toppo directly off his feet and at least 30 meters up. He lands and struggles to raise up, disoriented. The fight is called off there, they don't have to see anymore. Belmod feels rather embarrassed to have one of his strongest fighters defeated like that. He'd be even more embarrassed to know that this is nowhere near Goku's full power as well. Goku barely had to try, he ended the fight with a simple 4-hit combination. This makes the other gods very motivated to find their strongest fighters. If they don't give it their best shot, it could mean the end of their universe. So all the universes go off to collect their strongest fighters. Universe 7 starts off with the obvious two, Goku and Vegeta. Then Gohan and Piccolo are added to the mix. After that they add in Krillin, Tien and Master Roshi. This gives them 7 people. Begrudgingly they choose to put Frieza in there. With 2 people left, they think of the kids, but it's too dangerous. Then again, they would be amazing additions. With long talks with Chi-Chi and Bulma, they're persuaded to come along. If they lose, the universe is erased and everyone will be gone. They don't have any stronger people to replace them, so they should come along. Both kids are very excited to test their strength and to have proper fights for the first time ever really. Beforehand though, to keep them even safer, they perform the god rituals on them. Both Saiyans get massively stronger and are even more confident. The tournament begins and the kids find themselves up against Frost. Both power up into Super Saiyan and shock Frost with how strong they are. Frost begins in his final form and is quite strong as a result. He speeds toward the duo and kicks Goten airborne. Next, he blocks a kick from Trunks and acrobatically flips over a ki blast. Once planted, he powers off and knees Trunks. The kid is thrown onto his back and Frost then moves on to Goten. The 2 kids are strong, but Frost is a step above them. Using just Super Saiyan, they're struggling. They look at one another and nod at the same time. It's time to turn things up. The kids simultaneously shout and ascend into their Super Saiyan God forms. They speed toward Frost and land simultaneous punches. Frost folds right over and is sent tumbling into the ring's edge. Trunks extends both arms and releases his tree cannon, an offshoot of the final flash. Frost lifts a hand from the bright light. It's too late already. He's thrown off the ring and eliminated. Vegeta stands before Dispo, one of Universe 11's fastest warriors. He zips around him endlessly, but Vegeta sees no use in what he's doing. What will this needless running achieve, he says, annoyed with his opponent. Ascending into Super Saiyan 2, he reaches for Dispo. Extending his arm, Dispo gracefully evades before sweeping at his legs. Dispo follows up with a strong cross. This second hit throws Vegeta onto his back. He backflips, bruised by the hits. Super Saiyan 2 simply won't be enough, and so he takes things up a notch. A soothing calm aura of flame-like energy covers him and invigorates him. God Ki. He calmly ascends into Super Saiyan God and raises back up. Now Dispo's movements are a lot more readable. Instead of seeing this intense whirlwind, he can see every movement made. Dispo continues attempting to disorient Vegeta with his speed, but it will no longer work. Vegeta abruptly stomps, startling Dispo a little bit, however he continues once nothing happens. Vegeta grabs a loose rock and throws it at Dispo. Once it reaches him, it detonates and releases a wave of pure explosive energy. Dispo is thrown across the entire ring, hurt badly by that explosion. Vegeta speeds through it and looks to finish this off. Sprinting across the arena, he resembles a stream of red light to the adjacent fighters, he moves so fast. Before he reaches, Jiren arrives in front of him. "I don't need your help," Dispo claims, holding his bleeding face. Jiren gives him no response and just lets him sit with that claim. "Okay, maybe I did," Dispo says. "Go, this fight is mine now," Jiren claims. Although begrudgingly, Dispo speeds off to fight other people. Vegeta tries to track him down and end this fight though. Why should it end prematurely? However, Jiren sidesteps and covers his view again. "Alright then, looks like I'll have to go through you too," Vegeta says, stretching his fingers. Throwing both arms back, he uses his mini flash and explodes ahead. The fight is on. Instead of landing a direct hit, he slides under Jiren's legs then aims a one-hand energy wave from behind. However, the Prime Trooper gracefully flips over Vegeta. The energy wave flies off into the central pole of the tournament arena and partially destroys it. Vegeta predicts an incoming punch, so thrusts up using the mini flash. He acrobatically flips while airborne after dodging a punch. There aren't many things to push off, so he waits to descend. In the meantime, he unleashes a barrage of ki blasts, one of his signature attacks. Jiren seemingly doesn't evade and tanks it instead. After about half a second or so, he bursts out the smoke, moving at an imperceivable speed. He turns to a complete blur and hits Vegeta through the central tournament pole. Jiren, upon landing, leaps at him. He covers the whole ring's width with a single jump and in a split second. Before Jiren reaches Vegeta, he smartly flies back up using the mini flash. Just about evading the incoming kick, he powers up into his Super Saiyan Blue form while airborne. Once he lands, he jumps at Jiren. Jiren then sprints toward him too. The two warriors clash, sending fragments of the arena flying out in all directions. Jiren does have the upper hand, throwing Vegeta back though. Vegeta falls back a step but goes into attack straight after. Throwing across, Jiren just parries then pummels Vegeta with a slam. Once fallen, he throws down a punch then an elbow to the face. Both hits are strong, with the second a particularly forceful strike. The arena quakes and their battle draws many eyes from the participants and spectators. Vegeta, now with a bleeding nose and mouth, powers up into his Super Saiyan Blue evolution form while on the ground. Grabbing Jiren's arm, he lifts him up from the sheer increase in his strength. Jiren wasn't expecting him to push back with that much force. With him lifted off, he grabs a rock and uses destruction at point blank range. Subsequently, he throws a sequence of punches. Jiren is just taken off guard by his increase in strength. It's like he's become a new person. He blocks across from Vegeta but the Saiyan speeds around him using his mini flash. Then he kicks in his right knee to drop him down. With him dropped, he then fires a big bang attack. From so close, it's bound to cause serious damage. The arm on Jiren's shirt has burned off and he has a bruise, but nothing much else. Vegeta throws an upwards kick but Jiren grabs and stops it. Now angrier, he rises and latches onto the caught leg. He spins around and intending to slam Vegeta. In the spin though, Vegeta judges the best point to hit with a mini flash. After a quick thought, he gives it an intelligent guess and launches two mini flashes at the ground. They hit exactly where he wants them to, but he still gets dragged along it due to Vegeta's spin. Even if he's still moving, he's slowed down a great deal. With two more blasts, he frees himself. Jiren shows off greater physical strength, but Vegeta has debuted his special fighting style to the universe. He's quite annoying, hard to corner, hard to slow down. When you think you have him, he can apply force from almost any direction and find a way out. However, as time passes, it gets harder for him to keep up. This style only works if he stays quick on his feet. Vegeta lands a good cross that knocks Jiren's face aside. After landing that hit, he leaps and tries to jump right over Jiren. However, he throws his arms overhead and grabs him. Then he swings forward as hard as he can and lands a brutal slam. Vegeta lands right on his arm and grunts in pain. Before he can raise, Jiren latches onto him and delivers a long sequence of punches. The thought of being hurt by Vegeta leaves Jiren furious. After what he promised to his master, he cannot accept a superior. He must train and be stronger than absolutely everyone. He grabs Vegeta, lifts him up and slams him again. Vegeta struggles to escape. He's getting tired, he's struggling to push. Jiren has the upper hand just by using his weight. He doesn't have to push much himself. Vegeta's vision starts to blur and fade out. If he doesn't escape now, he will be eliminated. Just like his opponent, he has an ego. He doesn't want to accept defeat. He has to be the best. He must win. The only one he'll accept a loss to is Kakarot, nobody else. Vegeta's blue eyes turn to a bright glowing gold and his hair turns to purple. Roaring at the very top of his lungs, he pushes on Jiren's arms and throws them back. Jiren stumbles to the ring's edge and Vegeta lifts. This form gains the attention of Toppo, who's currently fighting Goku. How did he do that, he wonders, before taking a punch. Vegeta cackles wildly before sprinting at Jiren. He tries to hit Vegeta, but he slides under his punch and pulls at his leg. This sends him headfirst into the arena floor. Vegeta towers over his foe, glowing a beautiful purple colour. Jiren slowly stands and wipes blood from his mouth. Jiren screams and basically shreds his shirt off with his power-up. Ah, the gods get it now. Jiren is extremely powerful. After literally just training on his own, he's reached an insane level. Jiren speeds toward Vegeta and throws a large orange energy blast. The blast expands as it travels, reaching a phenomenal size. However, Vegeta looks unbothered. He doesn't even move as the blast approaches. He throws a miniature purple ball of ki that vaporizes the larger orange blast upon impact. As the orange particles fly out, Vegeta speeds through and punches Jiren airborne. Jiren coughs out blood and is heading off the ring. It looks like he might just get eliminated, but he smartly flips. After backflipping, he hangs on the ring's edge. Once he grabs onto it, it cracks. However, before he can fall, he throws himself back up. While airborne though, Vegeta kicks him away. There's nothing Jiren can do now. Shouting with rage, he's launched away from the arena and eliminated. Good riddance, Vegeta says, smiling. Goku catches a punch from Toppo, who's eager to get his revenge from their preliminary match. Goku throws his large fist aside, then lands a strong punch of his own. Subsequently, he sweeps at his left leg, knocking him off balance completely. After this is done, he falls to his base form. In this base state, he focuses negative ki and forms a smoky black cloak over his right fist, the Black Flash. The strike throws Toppo off the ring and leaves him with some serious internal damage. Even in just his base, the attack is incredibly destructive. With the strongest individuals out the fight, Universe 7 can sweep. Goku and Vegeta move quick and eliminate everyone else left. Even the Universe 6 Saiyans can't hold a candle to the duo. Due to Vegeta's relentlessness through his Ultra Ego mentality, his opponents drop like flies. The tournament concludes with Universe 7 the victors. After Goku wishes for the universes to return and everything ends happily, Frieza is rewarded with life and he uses this almost immediately to try and get the Dragon Balls. Instead of fighting himself, he uses a Saiyan that he's found, Broly. Broly meets Goku and Vegeta in an icy biome of Earth. A cool breeze flows over them, making their hair flow. Broly steps down from the ship, with each stride akin to a stomp. On sight, Paragus looks furious. He sees Vegeta and remembers the king that tried to banish his son, jealous he was stronger than his own. Paragus orders for Broly to attack and he does just that. The Mammoth Saiyan speeds across the ice, releasing a cloud of ice crystals and snow. Vegeta blocks his initial punch and is sent sliding. He blocks a second punch, then leaps into the air. Broly blindly follows and falls right into the prince's trap. He throws out a wave of ki blast, slamming Broly down from the explosive force. Vegeta elegantly flips in his cool green coat, blocking out the sun as he does so. While doing so, he rips off his cool green coat and reveals his Saiyan battle gear. Broly performs well, much better than Vegeta anticipated. He fights in a raw way, but each punch still has so much power and speed behind it. Even for his size, he just keeps getting faster. Vegeta gets kicked through an ice mountain, then is grabbed by his neck. Broly literally drives him through the mountain, then chucks him like a golf ball. Vegeta lands right on his bad arm, making him grunt in pain. "Always this arm," Vegeta mumbles, slowly lifting. Broly dives down, shouting with his arms lifted like an ape. However, Vegeta blasts him away and transforms into Super Saiyan 2. The electric aura throws Broly up and Vegeta speed blitzes him. The tables turn totally in his favour. Vegeta grabs Broly by his hair, then knees him. He lands a whipping left hook to his ear, then leaves Broly with a ring. Vegeta follows through with this momentum and spins around 360 degrees to then heel kick him in his jaw. Broly struggles at first, but eventually comes to match Vegeta even in this higher form. Vegeta lands a jab only to get hit with one straight after. Not only that, but Broly's technique with the jab resembles Vegeta's own a lot. He really is learning. Vegeta smiles upon seeing this. This fight might be a lot more interesting than he anticipated. Vegeta knocks away the brute's first punch, engulfed in a warm red aura of ki. Super Saiyan God is here. He elegantly flips over a second punch and kicks Broly in the same motion. With Broly off balance, he shoots out a wave of ki and throws Broly off his feet. Stumbling away, Vegeta follows up with a strong gut punch followed by a knee to the chin. The second hit launches blood upward and leaves Broly quite infuriated. The Mammoth Saiyan pulls down his head and reveals new pale yellow eyes. His hair is spikier and he's grown even taller. This fight seems to be a gift that doesn't stop giving. Broly lifts both arms and slams down and Vegeta braces for impact. The ice cracks under the force and the ground quakes. Straight after this hit, Broly front kicks him then grabs him. With his massive hand, it's like he's just grabbing a stick. Lifting him, he chucks him down and stomps on him. Vegeta shouts in pain after taking those hits. His increase in power has been monumental. Not just from the form's multiplier, but from him adapting, inexorably growing. Broly lifts Vegeta, who smiles and shows off his bloody teeth. After this, he ascends into Super Saiyan Blue. A massive burst of power, he knocks Broly's arms away and launches a close-up ki blast. Even with Broly's growing strength, Vegeta starts to show off his expertise. He sprints at Broly but then slides by him and evades an incoming punch. He hits his knee as he passes, then fires 2 mini flashes at point blank range. Once Broly turns around, Vegeta leaps and kicks him before landing on his back and blasting him up with his mini flashes. Upon ascending, he flips around elegantly before throwing out a piece of ice. He holds his arm out with his hand open. Broly waits to knock it away, but Vegeta explodes it before he can do so. The sudden explosion knocks Broly back a step and flusters him. Vegeta punches him repeatedly while he's distracted and then launches his Big Bang attack while still in close range. The powerful blast practically flattens the surrounding area. It creates this large round crater with an injured Broly at the center. Frieza, on the edge of his spaceship, looks unsatisfied. Broly's done a better job than he had done, he has to admit. But this isn't what he was hoping for. He wanted something better, something more dangerous, more threatening. Without even just normal Super Saiyan, Broly is toast. So Frieza looks over to his father, Paragus. He blasts through his chest and kills him. Frieza blames it on a stray blast and Broly goes haywire. He grabs his face like there's a spider on it, he drops to his knees and roars like a wild beast. A powerful aura of green ki engulfs him and destroys everything in the vicinity. It seems like Broly has disappeared, but he lifts from this new crater in Super Saiyan. Now this is concerning. Vegeta tries to keep him at bay with a ki blast barrage that amounts to nothing at all. Broly takes all the hits effortlessly before speed blitzing Vegeta. He lands a swinging punch and nearly knocks him clean out. The world starts swaying after that hit. He's almost taken out the fight for a second. That was some serious power. Vegeta looks up and sees Broly charging at him. With the speed that he's advancing at, he'll be too slow to resist. Is this going to be it? Before Broly can reach him though, a black dome covers him. It's not for long, since he's only using his Super Saiyan Ape Instinct form to maintain the domain. However, this light pull is enough to freeze Broly for a brief moment. That gives Vegeta sufficient time to get out the way before Broly can reach him. I didn't need your help, Vegeta shouts with annoyance while in flight. Alright Vegeta, Goku says dismissively as his domain collapses. Broly roars at the top of his lungs, still overcome with grief and rage. This is going to be tough. The two choose to fight in unison at first. Goku and Vegeta work together, with Goku starting off in Super Saiyan Blue and Vegeta in Blue Evolution, but it's still not enough. Eventually, Broly makes things even more difficult by utilising Super Saiyan Full Power, a mix of Super Saiyan and Ikari. Vegeta, injured and bruised, falls to a knee from his loss of energy. Goku stood behind him, fueling him with positive ki. They've used a distraction to buy themselves a few seconds. During this moment, many thoughts raced through the prince's mind. That form, Ultra Ego, he achieved it in the Tournament of Power. It's not something that he can do at will, but he has to use it now. If he doesn't use that, he'll have to just leave this to Goku for one of his annoying cop-outs. How humiliating would that be? Vegeta powers back up to his feet and Broly reveals himself before speeding toward the duo. Vegeta doesn't move like Goku does, but instead clenches his fists and roars. His eyes turn to gold and his hair switches to purple. Ultra Ego has returned. He evades Broly's first punch and grabs a loose rock in the same motion. After doing so, he throws it and detonates it too. Broly swings at him, but Vegeta braces and takes the impact surprisingly well. His punches don't have the same sting they used to. He can do this. Vegeta blocks a few more punches before evading another. After slipping past his incoming fist, he throws a punch of his own. Vegeta pounces on him again and lands a downward punch that throws his head down. Broly, now bleeding down the side of his face and weakened, grunts and lifts. After doing so though, he takes a double drop kick to the solar plexus. With Broly so injured and weak, Vegeta takes this chance to win. He cocks back both hands and Golden Ki cloaks them. He fires out his final flash, but Broly is saved at the last second. Broly soon finds himself back on planet Vampa and Goku meets them there shortly after to give them some supplies. After this is the beginnings of the Morrow arc. With a dead Majin Buu, the Galactic Patrol needs to find another warrior to face Morrow, who has just escaped from prison. Luckily for them, they're aware of a few of them. Jaka refers Meros to Earth to find Goku and Vegeta. Both fighters are very capable and have the best shot out of anyone in this universe basically. Meros eventually finds Goku and aims a stun gun at him. Who are you? Goku wonders, startled by this person's sudden appearance. He's just been training on his own in some grasslands near his home and this alien person just shows up out of nowhere. Now that he looks more closely, he looks a little like Whis. I need you to come with me. Why do I need to do that? The tension grows with this silence and Goku stays apprehensive. He doesn't know Meros' intentions and doesn't know how pure they are. Meros fires the beam and takes Goku down before he can say another word. The Saiyan, weak and lightheaded, wakes up in Meros' ship. He closes his eyes and starts to sense the surroundings. He senses no ill intent and no danger, therefore he eases a little. He takes in a calm exhale, his shoulders drop, the deafening silence is then broken by Meros. You're awake. I'm sorry that I had to use that force against you, but you didn't seem very cooperative. Do not worry, we are not enemies. All I ask is that you help us, Meros replies. Help? With what? He asks. We are the Galactic Patrol. We cross the galaxy and arrest criminals. Our most dangerous criminal that we kept under maximum security has managed to escape, he explains. We don't have anyone strong enough to do it themselves. However, we have connections, and those connections, he says before pointing to Goku, has led us to you. Okay, who is he? Morrow, the World Devourer. He takes the souls of his victims to add to his own lifespan. He is a demon, a poison to the galaxy, a threat to life itself, Meros adds with clear contempt and anger in his voice. He's too strong. He's old and frail now, but even in this state, we need you to help. No worries, Goku quickly says in his usual bubbly tone. The ship eventually arrives on Namek where Goku meets Morrow for the first time. A tall, frail and old figure with a large beard. Upon seeing him he can feel the wallows and painful cries of the souls he's consumed. He can feel this unsettling darkness oozing off him. Yeah, this guy's bad news for sure. Morrow drops down from the rock he stood on and slowly walks to Goku. The Saiyan doesn't back up an inch. Who are you? I'm here to stop you and bring you back to prison, Goku says, pointing at him. Morrow glares at him in complete silence for a few seconds before responding. I like your confidence, Morrow says before lifting his arm. Just know, a large boulder lifts from behind him along with smaller adjacent rocks, telekinesis. I won't go down that easy. Goku smirks and aims forward a finger. Dark blue negative ki condensed into black condenses in his middle finger. He flicks at the incoming rocks and blasts them all apart. Right after he speeds toward Morrow. As he advances, he concentrates negative ki into his feet and leaps ahead. He travels way faster than what should be normal for his base, but still gets knocked aside by Morrow with a backhand. Goku takes a roll to soften the impact and pounces again. This time Morrow kicks him into the sky. After taking this hit, Goku gauges just about how strong Morrow is. Super Saiyan with some good technique should suffice. The golden aura pulls out from him and his eyes turn to blue. After he debuts his new banding vow in battle, the flow state technique. He charges at Morrow and makes sure to amplify his speed using negative ki. Due to his massive increase in speed, it takes Morrow off guard. This lets Goku land his punch and he follows up quickly after with a cross. The second cross he lands is unexpectedly powerful. The flow state technique is working. Once he's done this, he quickly follows up with a second two-piece combination before taking a step back. Just as he anticipated, Morrow tries to attack him. He throws a punch, but Goku moves back just in time. After training and fighting for so long, he can predict the opponent's moves easily. Not only that, but the flow state works in his favor here. The more that he dodges, the faster he becomes and the easier it gets for him to dodge even more. Goku does need to stay on his game though. He can't pause for too long or he'll grow weaker. Therefore he charges back in and throws another punch. However, Morrow blocks it and then lifts a boulder. Smashing it into Goku, he's sent flying and then gets hit by another piece of rock and dirt. This second hit knocks him onto his stomach, having come from behind him. Goku calls off the technique for now. It might be helpful, but Morrow is too strong compared to him in this state. He's not far off, but his base is insufficient. Therefore, after lifting, he moves on to his Ape Instinct form. The Half Uzaru form manifests and provides him with just enough power to win. Goku blasts off with a burst of negative ki and punches Morrow. He practically speed blitzes him and darts right after him. Morrow, seeing Goku approach, tries to keep him away using telekinesis. However, Goku overrides it with his far superior speed and headbutts Morrow in his goat chin. Before he's sent flying though, he latches onto his wrist. He stops him and then throws him down. Morrow forcefully slams into Namek and releases a cloud of dust and dirt. Goku slowly descends using a simple ki wave to blast the dust away. Morrow, already quite injured and hurt, slowly lifts. He has this new look of rage in his face, why wouldn't he? His old and frail body makes his fight even more infuriating. This would have been over if he had his prime body and magic. Stand down, there's no point in continuing, Goku insists. However, Morrow has other plans. He looks around trying to find a strategy, however his eyes lock on the very ground beneath him. Yes, Namek, the planet itself. He should harness Namek's power, use it against Goku. He digs his hands into the ground. Goku watches a little trepidant. What is he up to? Suddenly, he feels an intense rumbling in the ground, an earthquake. He looks around intently but just can't find the origin. Then a massive stream of lava appears and fires right at him. Goku prepares himself and creates a tiny black ball of negative ki. Using the concentration level seen in his black flash, it keeps the lava away. Morrow even looks surprised by its explosive strength. Blinking from the wave of air, he opens his eyes to see Goku already throwing a punch at him. He unleashes a flurry of punches, each with enhancement from his negative ki. After decades with the power, he's learned to make his attacks several times more powerful. It gives him a deceiving power as well. Morrow, weak and nearly unconscious, is left on the ground next to some flowing green waters. A silence befalls the two as the fight comes to a sudden stop. Morrow coughs up blood and even struggles to get up. Goku crouches down and Meris arrives to arrest him. "You're going away for a long time now, Morrow," Meris explains. Morrow scoffs in response, having accepted defeat, seemingly. Meris reveals some handcuffs, but at the last second Morrow reaches out his hand. Goku does back away, but he feels something's off. Even the planet starts to move a little, Morrow sucking energy from him. Goku drops to a knee, afflicted with a weird and sudden exhaustion. This isn't good. Morrow smiles upon feeling the energy rushing through him. It's immense. He hasn't felt this way in a long time. This is it, his chance. Morrow rises and ruthlessly kicks Goku away. Turning to Meris, he throws him back with a strong ki wave. Next, he opens his mouth and fires a mouth blast at him. Before it can reach Meris though, Goku appears and kicks the blast away, now in Super Saiyan. He tried to enter Super Saiyan God, but this is the best he could do. Morrow charges at the Saiyan, who prepares. He doesn't try to attack back, but instead stands his ground. He lifts both arms and cloaks them with a sheet of dense negative ki. This acts as an armor and softens the punches that land on him. After a series of punches, he falls back about an inch, but nothing more. This isn't even Morrow's forte though. Morrow latches onto Goku and throws him up using telekinesis. Even in this higher form, the force pushing on him is too great. Morrow then shoots both arms into the air, but nothing happens. Goku looks around hastily but finds nothing. However, the clouds are suddenly parted by meteors, glowing hot rock falling from the sky. A ball hits the ground and releases masses of dirt and water from just its kinetic energy. Goku punches out a smaller one and tries this on a larger one, however he's thrown off his feet and slammed into the ground. Meris looks up alarmed. If Morrow continues like this, the Namekians could be in serious danger. After this meteor shower, the beautiful, peaceful environment has degraded into a magma-filled dark biome. Dark clouds start to collect overhead and roar with anger, shooting down energetic lightning beams. Goku breaks apart the meteor on him, then looks around intently. This isn't good. He's going to have to end this more quickly, or it could mean the end of Namek. Now filled with a new sense of conviction, he lifts and powers up further into Super Saiyan 3. Then he tries something he hasn't done before, Super Saiyan 3 Ape Instinct. His muscles bulge briefly from the masses of energy flowing through him. It's hard for him to contain at first, but he powers through. Sharp surges of pain run down his muscle fibers, but he continues nonetheless. He grits his teeth and summons the strength to carry on. Suddenly, a coat of fur appears. It's working. His snout appears and he ascends into his Super Saiyan 3 Ape Instinct form. A bright golden light nearly blinds Morrow, making him hold his hand up to shield his eyes. Once it dies, Goku is revealed in his new form, the peak of Super Saiyan, enhanced by negative ki in the Ape Instinct state. Goku smiles before shooting up with his new strength. He totally speed blitzes Morrow, who is surprised by the amount of energy Goku still possesses. He took a good amount of energy, but Goku still has more than enough. He grabs Morrow from out the sky, then dives down. He drives him through the dirt in flight, then starts playing ping pong with him basically, constantly punching him around. In this new form, he fights with a sense of relentlessness. He holds nothing back whatsoever. Morrow was already injured by Goku in Super Saiyan. In this form, it's a different story. Morrow strugglingly stands before collapsing, too much pain. Being constantly attacked, he's barely had the chance to heal himself. He hasn't even had the chance to stop and breathe. Goku drops down and Meris quickly restrains Morrow using his weird translucent substance. It works like a charm and just absorbs Morrow's kinetic energy very easily. Therefore, he just can't break out. It's good to know how far his body's come though. Using Super Saiyan 3 and Ape Instinct would have been a pipe dream a few years ago. Now, it's not exactly a piece of cake, but it's doable. Goku is thanked by Meris for his efforts and he returns to Beerus planet to continue his training. Once he reveals where he went, Vegeta is very jealous since he was left out of the fun. Goku must agree to a deal. Now that he fought Morrow without him, Vegeta must deal with the next foe they come up against. Goku's fine with that, mostly. Across the universe, Granola calls upon the dragon Tarambo. He gives his ultimate wish, to become the strongest in the universe. Tarambo goes silent for a concerning amount of time before speaking. I can complete this wish. However, you won't have much time to live, Tarambo reveals. How long? Tarambo gives his response. A shiver runs down Granola's spine. He gulps. That makes things a little harder, not impossible, but much harder. He doesn't think about it for very long. Complete the wish, Granola demands. Fine, your wish is my command. Granola erupts in a bright light and shouts from the power coursing through him. Not only that, but his mind is filled with new knowledge, new abilities. He has become the strongest person in the universe. This will be fun. The Heaters manipulate Goku and Vegeta into thinking Granola is instead a villain for them to defeat. They fall for their trap and head over to where Granola is to find him. They look around intently but find nothing. There's just radio silence. Goku continues looking around, but sees no movement. Out of nowhere though, a beam of ki lands on one of his pressure points. It lands on the back of his neck and knocks him out. Vegeta sees this surprised and grabs him before he can fall. The prince looks around and powers up into Super Saiyan. Vegeta looks around and tries to locate the source of this blast, and he finds nothing. To stay safe, he just dives down. In his descent though, Granola makes himself known. He basically rugby slams them out the sky and pummels both Saiyans at once. Vegeta lands on his arm, screaming in pain. The sudden impact wakes Goku up and lets him take charge. He lifts and tries to punch Granola. However, he easily evades and lands a punch to one of his pressure points. Granola then lands an uppercut before Goku can react to anything, and this hit launches him back to Vegeta. Vegeta shoves him off annoyed, then takes the fight himself. "I told you, this fight is mine," Vegeta roars, entering Super Saiyan Blue. He speeds toward Granola and throws out a purple ball of Hakai energy. Granola shows off his new power by flicking the blast away. Granola suddenly powers forward and speed blitzes Vegeta. He lands a strong punch to his gut that drops him to his knees. The Saiyan wheezes in pain and he struggles to get any air in. Granola smiles while looking down on the fallen Saiyan. "Where's your tail?" he asks. "You know we're Saiyans," Vegeta asks. Granola chuckles at this comment and crouches to his level. "Why do you think I'm here to kill you two? You murderers slaughtered," Granola says, struggling to get the words out. With those words come waves of memories from the past, trauma that has permanently altered him, left him dark, hollow, in pain. "You don't remember? You killed all of my people," he roars vehemently. He grabs Vegeta by his head and violently kicks him out of rage. Granola stands, hyperventilating. "You have to pay for what you've done," Granola screams. "The Saiyans are gone, we're good people," Goku says, cutting him off. "The Saiyans were hit by an asteroid. We and one other are the only Saiyans of our generation that remain," Vegeta states. Granola looks quite surprised, so he was close to being unable to get revenge. "You think I'd care? That's karma. After the people you took, that's exactly what you deserve," Granola comments. Vegeta can't help but look to his past after hearing this. He hears what Granola is talking about. He killed those people without a care in the world. In his eyes, the stronger survived and the weak were left subject to the will of those above them. If they lived, then they should be lucky. If not, then good riddance. But he struggles to admit it, but Earth showed him a new part to life. The connections, the family, it gives him a sense of happiness he never thought he'd have. That he took from so many other people, loving fathers, mothers, children, dead for nothing but profit. I'm sorry." Before Vegeta can say another word, Granola grabs him by his head and slams him. Granola then crouches to whisper into his ear, too late, before stomping on his chest. Vegeta shouts out in pain and Goku just can't keep on watching anymore. He must get Granola off him. Goku runs forward and utilizes his Black Flash attack. He lands the attack exactly as he wanted to, but breaks his own arm in the process. The stronger he gets, the more painful his Black Flash becomes. He grunts in pain upon landing the attack and launches Granola off Vegeta. "I didn't need your help," Vegeta utters, almost out of reflex at this point. Same old Vegeta, never can say thank you. Goku heals Vegeta and readies him for battle again. Vegeta doesn't want to waste any time. He's going to get things going from 100%. As he walks, he stretches his arms. Upon stretching his left arm, a small wave of purple ki lifts and flows around him. His eyes turn gold and his muscles grow larger and more defined. Then he ascends into his Ultra Ego state, now with a big smile on his face. The fallen Granola doesn't raise up and instead poofs away. What is that about? Vegeta looks around and tries to see if he teleported or something. It doesn't look like that. How surprising. However, Granola appears out of nowhere with an elbow aimed at the back of his neck. He lands a precise elbow to a pressure point and sends Vegeta headfirst into the ground. He stomps on his back then leaps up. Granola shuts one of his eyes and uses his cerulean eye. Getting his arm in the right position, he fires when Vegeta is in his sights. He lands this attack with total precision on the most vulnerable pressure point, the heart. His blast doesn't exactly pierce Vegeta but leaves him badly hurt. Goku can't help but rush in. He knows Vegeta wouldn't like it, but how can he just watch that and let it happen? He drops to see a laughing Vegeta, maniacally laughing. What's going on? Vegeta looks back up at Granola. Don't you realise? Regardless of where you got that power, this is where we Saiyans thrive, Vegeta roars, erupting with an aura of purple ki. He continues to fight and has a lot more power than he just did recently. Not only that, but as Granola continues to hurt him, he grows stronger and stronger. The only issue is Granola is stronger than Goku as well as Vegeta. That means there's quite the gap between the two. Therefore, even with him growing stronger, he can't reach that level quickly. Not only that, but he's receiving a lot of damage. It's going to eventually overwhelm him if he continues like this. Goku can see this, so opts to assist. He heals him from his injuries, but Vegeta feels the power still coursing through him. A powerful boost. Vegeta slams his chest with a new vigor and resolution, then continues on. Their punches shake the planet and shave off entire forests. Vegeta carries on with a fierce ruthlessness in his fighting style, blended with the grace of his mini flash maneuverability. He uses the mini flash to slide toward Granola and he aims for a low kick. Granola can see this though and looks to kick him, but at the very last second, Vegeta slides out the way and puts up his hand. He aims his Big Bang attack at close range and fires, closing his eyes. He knows that he'll get hurt in the process and doesn't care. In this Ultra Ego form, the confidence he has is almost dangerous for him. A bright white light appears and there's an enormous explosion. Surely that's enough. The dust clears, but Granola is revealed bruised but not defeated. He's currently panting and hurt from that attack, but still standing. Granola looks to attack Vegeta again but gets interrupted by someone, Minato. After seeing how he collected the Dragon Balls, he feared the worst. Granola still hadn't forgiven the Saiyans for what they did. That's when Minato reveals who saved his life, a Saiyan, Bardock, father of Goku. That changes everything really. Granola's whole life mission almost crumbles at this point. Everything that he assumed about this race, it can't be true for everyone at least. He isn't exactly on their side but calms down a little. He's not going to apologise, but he stands down. After he stops though, a new threat appears, Gas. The Gas is now wished to be the strongest in the universe. The only issue is, he's aging very quickly. He's not going to have much time at all. Granola stands beside Vegeta as they both face this new threat. Goku joins the line, 3 of the strongest warriors now alongside each other. I'll stay at range, you two move in, Granola says, then Goku and Vegeta charge at Gas. Goku enters Super Saiyan Blue and Vegeta goes into Ultra Ego. The two fight side by side and do quite well. They've trained a lot together and so know each other's advantages. They can easily cover each other's blind spots. Goku lands a punch and Vegeta leaps right over him and comes down with a kick. Gas makes a pitchfork of energy and chucks it at Goku, but before it can reach him, Vegeta slaps it out the way. Before it can go too far though, Goku catches it and spins around, keeping its speed. After that, he throws it out at Gas and stabs it into his chest. Right after, Granola lands an energy beam right on his heart. Not only that, but he continues with a barrage of precise beams. This even makes Goku and Vegeta turn their heads. During this fight, Granola used his blasts very sparingly. However, he's just unleashed a relentless wave of energy blasts out of nowhere and they seem to be quite accurate. That's when they notice his second eye. He's activated both cerulean eyes now. Now stronger and more deadly, the fight is theirs to win. Not only that, but Gas is growing weaker and older. Goku steps forward convicted. The memories of his father and his Saiyan heritage have returned to him and it makes him even more determined. Not only that, but something different happens. Beautiful clusters of white sparkles lift and flow around him, his irises switch to an alluring silver, and a multicolored aura appears. Ultra Instinct Omen. Goku breaks the ground with his first stride and lands a right cross. The punch lands perfectly and creates a crater under them both. Gas is knocked out right away and sent literally flying. After, it's only minutes before Gas is dead. Goku doesn't want to add insult to injury, therefore he leaves him as he is. Even with these wishes for Granola and Gas to surpass them, both Saiyans grew constantly during the fight, broke their limits then broke new ones. The true warrior race. So that concludes what if Goku had negative ki. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.